eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
In a house in Omaha, people gather in the kitchen. They don't talk about school and work. They talk about doctors and surgeries. They're the families of Ronald McDonald House Charities in Omaha. And the kitchen is where they come together to share the struggles their children are facing. For these families, it's the little things like a home-cooked meal, even while far from home, that make the biggest difference. Volunteer to prepare a meal by visiting rmhcomaha.org.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no per-ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Hello, what are we doing?
How would we not have the crossover? I mean, it's like
Here we go.
I switched it early.
Jar.
No, I'm not. I switched it early. I messed up. I'm dumb.
Wow. Well, it's kind of
Crossover. It just crossed him over.
I mean,
Another victim to the crossover.
Yeah.
Cross him up and sit him down.
It'd be like if all the actors in Star Wars walked out on the set and just started looking. Oh, are we supposed to start now? We start now, and then they start acting.
It'd be like
And
saying
then-
going live, going
and-
live, going live, going
And
live.
then
Somebody else. hits it.
then the big Star Wars. And see, it just ruined everything.
Yeah, that was tough.
I don't know. You guys don't like a crossover cold open?
I mean, if we were planning on it, I'd be down with it. But Nick was just like,
We could just fire off a couple jokes and then the crossover open hits.
Yeah, but if we're gonna do it in
It's
the
like an
vein
episode of The Office.
But if we're going to do it in the vein of what you were thinking of The Office, but I think Cold Open, I think Saturday Night Live. If we were going to do it in the vein of Saturday Night Live, we would have to come on and do something not funny and then say, and live from Omaha, it's Unsportsmanlike Conduct and Connor Happer crossover.
We should do that.
I don't hate that idea. It's actually a pretty good bit. Could be our new 2023 bit.
See, if I wouldn't have screwed up, you wouldn't have had this We'd have great to idea.
Good
Yeah.
job,
entirely,
Nick.
an
It all worked
entirely
out.
scripted crossover. Who
Every
did that?
day. Every day.
Who's got to write it?
Nick. Do you think I'm funny at writing?
We're
No.
not funny at talking.
But if we're doing an SNL imperation, Nick
You
could
could
write
definitely
it
be
'cause
an
it wouldn't be
SNL
funny.
writer.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It'd be perfect.
Weekend Update is hilarious. A lot of good writers got their start on SNL.
Yes,
You know?
yes, in
Yes,
the,
when
the
it was
olden
funny.
days.
When it was funny.
That's like saying Nebraska football had a lot of good players.
Yeah.
Yes, we know. We call those the old days.
Yeah, their names are Will Ferrell. Yeah, that guy was pretty good.
Chris
That's true.
Farley, David Spade,
I watched
Adam Sandler.
No, I have not. I
The
didn't watch it
Sandman.
live, but I saw that they had parodied like Fox
Jason
NFL
Sudeikis.
Sunday a couple of shows ago.
Oh yeah, was it funny?
No,
Really?
not at all.
Shocking.
What?
It was really not good.
I see
That's
it.
a bummer.
I see a skit or two pop up on Twitter every now and again, and they are never funny. They really aren't.
That's a bummer.
I know. SNL used to be awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder, has our humor changed?
No.
Have they gotten worse?
No.
Yes.
I didn't like SNL a whole lot when I was like growing up. I thought, wow, this is way unfunnier than it used to be.
There's that theory where Josh is the exception, where SNL is always funnier to you, you always think SNL is at its funniest when you're like 13, 14, 15. Definitely kind of in that true. range.
See,
Yeah,
but
but
when
I
I was
believe
that
that. But
age,
here's the
I would
thing.
watch the Will Ferrell stuff and I was like, that's way funnier than now.
But I had the Andy Samberg stuff. I thought it was great.
That's
Well,
not
see,
funny.
See, here's the thing. I remember the original cast and it was great. You know, when Eddie Murphy was around and Joe Piscopo, that was really good. And then they had some lull
All
in
those
there.
people that got
But
poached
then-
from Mad.
But then,
Not Mad.
you know, you had
Lampert.
Nice.
you had the group with Dana Carvey and Mike Myers and
What's his name?
Phil
R.I.P.
Hartman
R.I.P.
and that group, and that was really solid. And then later you had, you know, the Chris Farley, you know, Adam Sandler was good.
The
You mentioned
90s.
Andy Samberg, you know.
90s were great. That 90s
So it
cast
was good for a
loaded.
long time. So it wasn't just hey, when I was 13, it was fun. It was good for
The
20
Will Ferrell,
years.
the Will Ferrell.
I
era.
think SNL, Will Ferrell impersonating George W. Bush.
So funny.
That's what I think of.
I like the one where him and Rachel Dratch were in the hot tub.
In the hot
In
tub.
this
I
hot tub.
loved the hot tub.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon would come in there and
Rachel
laugh the whole
Dratch couldn't
time.
hold it together.
That was
She
so
just laughed
funny.
the
Like,
entire show.
there was one I remember with like Drew Barrymore, and she was in the hot tub.
in
the
this
hot
hot
tub.
tub.
Yeah.
That's good.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Fallon did some decent ones. Yeah, Jimmy Fallon became
Jimmy
unfunny.
Fallon was great.
Yeah.
I like Fallon.
What was the one that he would do with Horatio Sands, where it was like a dorm room like web blog?
Did
type
you get
thing?
that? Did you?
Uh-huh.
Get, what-
That was a funny one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
they were
just, like,
usually like
stoners.
Boston guys.
Yeah, those were funny. Obviously, cowbell. I mean, that's again, Nick. Yeah, you're disproving that theory because you love the cowbell sketch.
Cowbell sketch
You weren't a
was good.
teenager when that sketch
No.
happened. You were in your 40s,
Not
I think.
At all. Not at all. No. Hey, Josh, the Cowboys lost.
Yeah, I know.
Ah.
I was listening to a podcast today. Shocker. That could have been the corner
Yeah,
thing.
that should have been the thing.
Was it at normal speed in Memorial?
Nick, no, and of course not.
No, it was at half speed in Memorial.
And it was about the NFL, and I was listening to it, and I was getting mad. I was just getting mad over the course of the podcast. Just
listening about the NFL?
because I know that
Give it
there's
up, Josh.
one more game
Your
left.
team stinks.
I
Well,
know.
yeah, there
it
is
was
one more
making
game.
me mad. I was because then did you see the stupid quote from my dumb owner and his dumb son?
Yeah.
I think Zeke Elliott, he didn't have any drop off. You morons. I don't want to be a fan of this team anymore.
He's at like a 5-year drop off.
He sucks now.
Yeah,
he's been bad for
he got
years.
progressively worse every year.
Every
for the
year.
last
Yeah.
5 years.
Every year.
That's just weird.
Ugh.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not weird.
So I was getting legitimately angry. So I was listening.
You know
to
what you need? Some baseball. That's what you need.
Yeah, you do.
the fake baseball or
Base-
the real?
No, the real
Oh,
baseball.
I forgot
not-
to listen to fake baseball
You
podcasts.
didn't listen
I
to
did
Sleepy
too.
Time baseball.
Yeah, Jeremy says, was it the Northwood Sleep podcast? No, it was an NFL podcast, and I was getting mad.
You wouldn't have gotten mad if you listened to fake baseball.
And then you know
Yeah,
what happened?
that's
I was
true.
thinking about next week, and I was getting angrier. I was just getting like, this is gonna suck so much. I hate this.
When the Eagles won
Have
the
you?
Super Bowl.
I mean, are you disrespecting the Chiefs that much that you give them that little chance?
No,
get
it's
on
just
your
I don't
knees.
think that this is an area of my life where I can get right. I have a lot of things going for me. I will admit that. Like, I'm in relatively good health.
Why?
Yeah,
Why do you? Yeah.
I work out every now
Would
and then.
you attribute
That's not
that
the thing. I'm pretty happy. I reach a lot of my individual goals for myself. I do a lot of those, but this is the one area I'm just like, it's never going to go right for me. And I've kind of decided that.
Yeah,
And
but
so,
think about that. Of
Congrats
all
to the Eagles
but
fans.
of all the
You
things,
monsters.
Would you rather have a really bad life and your team was good?
yeah.
I don't know. There was a former coworker. I could ask him. He was a Patriots fan. He was probably having a good time.
So Josh would rather have a terrible
No,
life, but
I
the
like the-
Cowboys be
no.
good.
Interesting question.
That is, that's a no-brainer.
And this is the part where
I mean,
because
you
I
have to
can't
live your
control
life
this.
all the time.
Yeah, you're
I
your
can
life every
control all
day.
the other stuff, and I'm really good at stuff when I put my mind to it.
Stuff like what? What are you good at?
Show's pretty good.
Yeah, but most of that's me and Nick.
I don't have any quarters, so I can't say anything else. But I have goals, and I
That's
reach my
breaking
goals.
the rules. You can't. Do
Is that
Yeah.
all it takes to get you to stop talking about? Is knowing? Oh, I forgot to bring quarters.
So we
Yeah.
bring Josh a roll of quarters.
I know. I
actually-
keep
I actually
forgetting.
brought some quarters.
I
today.
forgot to
keep
bring
forgetting.
I keep forgetting to bring.
I
a
haven't had
quarter.
quarters with me the whole
Yeah.
time we've been doing this. So
This has been a fun exercise for me because I'm too poor to be able to put that much money in. So I
Yeah.
have a dog in the fight.
There you
what do you
go.
mean? It's a quarter.
It's a quarter.
Yeah, Nick, you have quarters.
You don't have a bunch
I
of
know I
quarters
have-
in your car.
Nick, you talk all the time about how I'm going out to try this random new food
Yeah.
item that I don't want to eat, but I want to try it for the
Yeah.
bit. So I know you have quarters.
Yeah. Check your car.
Yeah.
Don't you have a quarter?
No,
little
I found
quarter
my
tray?
bag. I found my bag of change, but I'm just saying overall, I can't just be all willy nilly about it.
Well, but that's the whole point of the bag of changes because it's just a quarter.
Yeah, who cares? It's a bag of change. I have so
Yeah.
much change at the house. I'm never going to use it
I
except
wonder
to
how
pay off
long
debts.
I've had those in there.
See, exactly. You don't even think about them.
Right.
Rusty says, "How would Josh's life be terrible if the Cowboys were good?" Great point. My life would be awesome.
Or any
Yeah, but
Cowboys in
okay.
that-
If
so if
you
you're-
got fought, you
if-
sucked at radio.
Yeah, if you're homeless
Okay, that's true.
If you're
I couldn't even watch
destitute,
them.
You're on meth,
and
you
the
know?
only way you
But
can
the
actually
Cowboys are
watch
great.
the
Cocaine
Cowboys
with
is to
Nick.
walk by a sports bar and press your nose up on the glass.
That does sound pretty
Yes,
bad.
We did it.
That
Are-
sounds pretty bad.
Are any Cowboys going to be in that ping pong tournament during the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
You haven't seen the advertisements for that?
There's a ping pong
yeah,
tournament
there's
during
gonna
the
be a
Swiss
ping
Super
pong
Bowl.
tournament. I've seen it advertised
I
on
like
YouTube.
the
and
three
Twitch.
actual NFL fans don't know what Nick's
I've
talking
never
about.
heard this before.
I've seen it
Are
advertised.
you
Have you
sure
seen
this
this?
isn't one of the deals they're
Probably
doing
some
for the
ad
Pro
he's on
Bowl?
Twitch.
It is an ad I saw on
So
Twitch.
yeah, it's for the people. It's, for, it's
Oh,
not
Nobody's
for
ever
us.
seen it,
It's
yeah.
not for us.
Right.
It's
I have
for
cable, Nick.
it's for the Knicks of the world.
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I saw this.
This doesn't exist.
It exists.
Yeah. Quarters. What is this? Ping pong?
You sure this isn't for the Pro Bowl games?
It said Super Bowl. It said real
It's
NFL
probably for the
stars,
Pro
Super
Bowl. It's
Bowl.
probably for the Pro Bowl.
It's probably for the Sleepy Baseball podcast.
Nice.
Or the Sleepy baseball part.
Put a pin in this.
Maybe there's a
this.
Sleepy ping pong tournament too.
Odson says, remember the homeless guy with a great voice? He could still be a homeless radio guy with a great life. Remember that guy from Cleveland? Do you not remember this? He had an incredible voice, the voice of God. It was awesome.
But he was homeless.
But then he got a job offer. I don't know. He got a job offer because of how great his voice was.
I vaguely remember this.
There's some homeless people who are happy. I suppose we should throw that out there too.
Well, there can be. Yeah, sure, absolutely. I don't want to rule it out, but
Ted Williams. Wow, that's crazy that's his name.
Ted Williams.
Yep. Known as the man with the golden voice.
No, Ted Williams is the guy without a head.
Yeah.
People forget.
His head is frozen.
Wow, this guy, is this the guy? Is this the guy who is? Yeah. Okay. So he has a job now. He works in New York. Or no, he works at WVKO in Columbus, Ohio. Or he did. I don't know. But good for him, though. He's back in the game.
Great for him.
Good for that guy.
It's awesome news.
Nick, what's up with the ping pong? You find anything?
I'm not finding anything, and I'm
Because
confused.
it's fake news. This is fake news.
It's a
He
favorite
got a
ping
fever dream
pong.
when he was on his cocaine the other night.
You were on cocaine?
He won't shut up about it. Just had a meeting with our boss, and he said, cocaine, cocaine, cocaine. Over and over and over. Cocaine. He was like, what if we played a cocaine drop? What is a cocaine drop? I don't know. We'll play it.
That's true. You were a little excited every
Yeah,
time
very
the word
good about the
cocaine got
cocaine.
mentioned.
Sorry, I get
Very-
excited about creative ideas.
Yep.
I don't know if it's
Is
really
this
a
what the
creative
SNL
idea.
bosses say to Lauren?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got creative about another idea.
Here
Lauren.
comes
There I
Nick. He's
go,
going to
getting
suggest another
creative
skit
again.
about
Nope.
cocaine.
Nope, no creativity here. We have to be as unfunny as possible. Okay, cool.
It would explain why SNL isn't funny anymore. Their boss is 80. How old is Lorne Michaels?
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah, he's up there.
I mean, no offense, but he just probably doesn't know what kids think is funny today.
Well, but is he signing off on every bit?
78. Apparently, that guy's like a control freak.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe time to
Hang it up.
hang it up.
Could be an SNL bit where Nick is a writer on SNL, and every week he suggests a skit about cocaine. He wants to do a cocaine skit.
I
every
love
week. He
this
walks in,
idea.
and they're like, "Oh, Nick, talking about cocaine again," and then they finally do it, and it's horrible.
It's the Coke skit of the week.
I like this idea.
It's a little meta,
You're
know.
just
it's-
coming
Kind
in.
of meta.
Can we do another cocaine skit, guys? No. Sorry.
Here comes Nick. He's going to talk about
You
cocaine.
know what?
again.
We may
I
have just
swear I
come up
didn't
with a funny
imagine
bit for that program, and we're just riffing.
Oh,
right
for our
now.
cold open? Maybe.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
Yeah. So the cold open is Nick pitching the sketch about cocaine.
Yeah.
Wow. That's meta. My God. I like it. Nick, thoughts?
Sure.
All right.
He'll
he's
do
in.
it.
Sure.
He'll do it. I mean, the bit, not the cocaine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who can say?
That's true.
My heart would literally explode. I can't do that.
It's a Friday, right? So we're taking requests from people.
Sure.
J-Sker Todd texts in. Stuck on a crossword puzzle. Any idea of a 3-letter word for? Oh no, it was for jog or trot. I get what he was doing.
Uh-huh.
Todd, you
Entrapment.
jerk.
Trot is not a 4-letter word.
No, he's saying a 3-letter word for
Oh.
jog or. Yeah, I know what he wanted to say. I'm not gonna say it. You can talk.
Well, you already said it. It does. That
Yeah.
counts. You owe a quarter.
Yeah.
You're in the hole.
I don't have one.
Yeah.
I'll go out to my car during the commercial break. I don't think I have one.
Go to the bank and turn in. Like
I just need to.
turn in a $10 bill and get a roll of quarters.
I asked Riz to do it when she ran to the bank, and then she was like, "Why do you want a roll of quarters?" And then she just ignored me.
Those roll of quarters. I haven't had one of those in a long time, but
All right.
they're
I
a
haven't
really
either.
cool thing to have.
Yeah.
I like a roll, and then you bang it up against the thing, and then it
Open it.
breaks open. Yeah. Yeah.
Quarters everywhere, like Nick's cocaine.
Remember rolls of quarters?
I remember the old days.
Well, you know,
I bet in college.
old-timey wrestling, they used to use a roll of quarters and they ball it up in their fist and they'd hit somebody with
Oh.
it. But then the quarter thing would explode and the quarters would go all over the ring. And then the ref would go, wait a minute, where did all these quarters come from?
Oh, that's how you know.
Yeah. Which, if you think about it, yeah, okay.
Wait a minute, something's
So
not
you're
right
balling
here.
up your fist around a hard object, but you're still making hard contact. You're still, I mean, it's not good for your hand, is it?
Yeah, no, it can't be good for your hand, and I don't imagine that it would do that much more damage.
Right.
Just
it
makes
is-
your
it
fist
is
slightly
wrestling.
heavier.
I don't know if you know this, guys, but the pro wrestling, it's staged.
Well, they don't actually punch each other?
What? You saying they stomp on the ground when they punch?
They can.
Remember when I learned that? I was like, wow. Wild.
These guys are incredible actors.
That's wild.
I believed them.
Sometimes they slap their leg.
Jeremy says #1 bump Friday for Nick.
One line Friday.
There you go, Nick. Thoughts?
One bump Friday is funnier.
All right. One bump Friday for Nick. Congrats.
We did it.
What's the difference between a bump and a line?
Yeah, Nick, what is the difference?
Interesting.
I don't know, actually.
Have you never watched Pulp Fiction or any other movie? They explain it in movies.
I think it's pretty
self.
self-explanatory.
It's pretty
right? The
self-explanatory.
line
yeah.
is just a line.
Line is a line. Bump is just like a snort of like
Oh,
you're
like a
taking a
little
snort of
quick-
whiskey.
little-
Oh,
Yeah.
Like a shot?
okay.
Yeah.
Like off the end of a
Like a key. People could use
yeah,
keys
yeah,
or
yeah,
spoons.
okay, yeah, okay. That's a bump. All right.
Okay.
See,
I hear-
I think of line. You know, when Al Pacino just gets his face down and
I never saw that movie.
I've never either.
it's a good movie.
I never had a desire. Have you seen that movie?
What is it? Scarface?
It's great. I love it.
Well, I'm not picking it for movie club today.
Oh, cool.
Movie club might be a little fishy.
He's
Oh, is
doing
he-
the lobster.
Is he pick? Oh no.
Uh,
Or is he
Are
pick-
you?
Who's that? What's the movie that you hate or the Aquaman? Is it
Maybe.
Aquaman? Nick, are you picking
This is
Aquaman?
exciting.
You'll have
You
to,
guys
you'll have to wait
might-
and see.
You guys, the lobster's not that bad. The lobster's not that bad. It's very dry, but it's kind of funny.
mm,
It's very unique.
Unique New York.
yeah, I don't know. If
But I
like
don't know
this.
that you're doing it.
The
That's up to Nick.
Lobster. Colin Farrell plays a guy named David.
David.
Okay.
John C. Riley is in it.
I do like John C. Reilly. I couldn't believe all the actors that were in our movie this week.
I was surprised
For a movie
too.
that I had never heard of
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Parkland.
it's about the hospital where Kennedy was taken when he was shot.
Oh.
It's about people on the periphery of the story and the kind of the day they experienced. or the
Interesting.
days.
Zac Efron is in it. Paul Giamatti is in it,
Mhm.
among many others.
Is that why Zac Efron looks so weird now?
No, he looked very, very normal. This movie's like a decade old.
Oh.
So he was still in his normal. He was just starting to get a little buff. He was like in pretty good shape.
Oh
What
my
is-
God.
What is?
Look at Billy Bob Thornton.
Zac Efron now, John.
What is Billy Bob Thornton doing in his IMDb picture? He looks insane.
Does he really?
Well, he usually
Let
does
me
look
see.
insane. Oh yeah.
That's
He's
a,
got the soul patch.
Oh
like,
wow,
is it
Yeah.
this one?
that's a weird looking soul patch.
Was this
Business
bowl haircut?
everywhere else.
Oh.
Soul patch on the
Oh,
soul
he-
patch.
He's yoking up. What's he
Mhm.
yoking up for?
I think just life. I think he just wants to be a big muscle man.
Oh,
Good
Who,
for him.
Efron?
is he been in
Yeah.
any of the Marvel or DC movies?
I don't think so.
No, I think he's gonna. No,
Which is
Josh, I think
odd.
he's
You
gonna be
would
in
think
something.
you would think he would be. You would think he would want to. I mean, if he's
Yeah, they could have easily turned him into a superhero.
yeah.
Oh, for sure. Man, remember what he looked like as a kid? Look at him. He looks like a little baby. What's he on? What was the thing? he
High
was-
School
High School
Musical.
Musical. Yeah, I never saw those.
I didn't either.
I did see the first one.
After my time.
I watched
way after my
the first one and the second one. Never saw the third
You
one.
seem like you'd be a huge High School Musical.
I wasn't
fan.
that into them.
That's
Some
it.
of the songs were bops, but I wasn't that.
I'm
into
kind of
'em.
surprised, honestly, Nick. It just seems like something you'd be into.
I
Sounds
wasn't-
like something
not really.
someone would be into if they were on coke.
It was
Which
Those
definitely
movies
during-
came out when I was in elementary school.
Yeah, it was during
you're
your
an
time.
from Iowa,
It
though.
was the perfect time for you.
What's for lunch today? Now your choice. You got your pizza and your coke.
And your meth.
Oh, and the meth.
There's a
Right.
lot. There is a lot of meth.
Good review of Iowa, Nick.
Not just it's a pretty
Iowa!
common middle school thing or Midwest thing.
That was a middle school thing.
That is true. I mean, sadly, the meth, because it does tend to steal from farms, it happens here too. You know.
We have meth.
Oh yeah, it's a
Oh,
it's a
we have
major
meth.
Midwest thing.
It's another thing I've never
A lot
seen.
of farmers,
The people that
would
steal
use
the
amphetamines.
anhydrous. Yeah,
Yeah.
they steal the anhydrous ammonia.
They would use amphetamines in the old days for farming.
Dang.
Oh, they would? I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
that.
That was a thing. And
I
then
know a lot
the
of times-
U.S. A lot of them were pilots who came back from WW2.
Mm.
And the pirates were given meth on the long bomb missions. Then they came
Well,
back.
what
They
you're
needed
talking
their
about,
fix.
the Germans were on.
Yeah.
it.
Big meth guys.
I think every side was just pumping drugs into their people
Well, I
during
mean,
the war.
got to deal with war somehow.
That's true.
Mhm.
Though the thought of my grandfather being on meth just doesn't make. Can't imagine that.
Yeah,
Well,
Grandpappy.
Too bad.
Can't imagine Grandpa Bishop.
It happened.
It was
Give
government.
Give me the
meth if
blue.
he
Give me
was.
the blue stuff.
I don't think it's Walter White.
Heisenberg.
quality. Yeah.
Heisenberg, a German name.
Oh,
True.
Mm-hmm. People forget.
Why did he choose that name?
It was like a chemist or something.
Oh,
it was a
yeah.
chemist
Yeah.
thing. It was a nerd thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nerd.
that makes sense.
Yeah, indeed.
All right.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Not Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fine.
Otson just did a Photoshop of Nick as Scarface.
Amazing.
One Bump Friday. Awesome.
Wow. If he had time to actually, work it,
Where is it?
he could
He
match
tweeted
it
at USC
really
1620.
Probably from Happer Show.
I mean, you can obviously tell because the photo is squared off, but if he really worked at it, he could get that to match perfectly.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
And it would look It would look
Nice.
like it
It was
fit.
pretty close.
Oh, yeah, that's close.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, Josh.
All those piles of cocaine sitting on the table.
It's a lot of
So
cocaine.
what does he do? He dives his whole face into there?
It's a little more than a bump.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that ain't no bump. It's a mountain.
yeah. He gets into his own product.
By the way, Tony says that Zac Efron is going to play Kevin Von Erich in a upcoming wrestling movie about the Von Erich family. Do you know who these people are?
Yes,
Okay. What was his wrestling name? Was it Kevin Von Erich?
yes, that was
Okay.
the wrestling name.
Good name.
So that's why he's jacked.
And with the weird hair.
Well, but the
His
funny
face
thing
looks
is,
weird,
the
too,
funny
now.
thing is, if I remember correctly, Kevin wasn't like ripped. He just kind of had an old man body, if I remember right. So, so why he's getting like all yoked for that
Interesting.
is weird.
Oh, I just saw 2021 Zac Efron. That's
Oh, with the
Yeah.
hair?
Yeah, something happened to
no,
his
that's
face.
2019. It's the face one.
Oh,
He
something
looks
happened to
like
his face?
who's that dude from Parks and Rec? I don't remember the name of the actor.
Rob Lowe.
Yes, he kind of looks
Jinx.
like Rob Lowe.
Kind of does look like Rob Lowe.
Interesting.
Looks like he had some, I don't know, like his eyebrows are
Hmm.
higher.
Oh, there's some Botox.
back-
in there.
Rocking an
Botox.
NFL hat.
And the NFL hat. Don't forget the NFL hat.
Mhm.
A fan of the NFL. All right, guys.
Well, friends,
Later.
it is a one beer Friday. Sorry, it's just beer.
Just beer.
Just beer today,
Just
folks.
beer today.
Shucks.
But look at this. We have old Journal Star and current Journal Star.
Parker.
But yet the old Journal Star
Ah!
is the young,
Yeah, he's younger than me.
and the current Journal Star is the old.
Wow.
Young Parker.
Coming up on the program today. So stand by for news and a program on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show.
If Mahomes was a horse in the Kentucky Derby, do you think he would have got to run in the Derby the way he was limping?
One-way ticket to the glue factory for Patrick Mahomes.
Think about back. Well, here's the advantage that we humans have over horses. We can communicate our wants and intentions. Horses can't be like, look, I want to run through this pain.
I can go,
I
coach.
want to run. I have to do this. This is important to me.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Plenty of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures warming up into the mid and upper 20s, but still feeling like the teens. Expect gusts today out of the south up to 20 miles an hour. For tonight, still staying clear and chilly. Overnight lows dropping into the 20s. More mild Saturday with highs topping out in the 40s to nearly 50. Breezy with partly cloudy skies. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Creighton coverage on The Zone is presented by Barry Law. At Barry Law, we fight alongside those who choose to fight back. Call Barry Law at 402-999-7777 or visit BarryLawFirm.com. At Barry Law, we're in it to win it.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows. The Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows are also presented by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. By Barry Law, by Union Bank and Trust, and by DJ's Dugout. Before and after each Creighton game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel. Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
This edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone is proudly presented by Union Bank and Trust. The program starts now.
KOZN. Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
Are you like me, and when you hear that they might be calling for 50 degrees in the forecast, you're like, I'll believe it when I feel it?
Absolutely not. And I'm not a negative pessimist like you are.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
But isn't that important, right? Because how many times have we been teased, it's going to be 40 degrees, but then the wind is howling at 90 miles an hour and it feels like it's 12?
Yeah, but every year we have a day, it's actually usually in January, where it sneaks up above 50. So this is actually later than normal. So no, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it's taking this long. But again, I'm the opposite. How are you negative about maybe it being nice?
I'm not being negative. I'm just saying I'll believe it when I feel it.
Okay.
I'm just afraid that it's going to be one of those types of 50s,
Oh, where it's windy?
Yeah.
Thankfully,
That's
knock
not
on
good.
wood, we have not had the wind that we did last year. Now, most of that was actually in the spring itself, but man,
Last year's wind was weird.
It sucked.
Yeah,
or like that
No,
December
it blew.
derecho.
Nice.
Jinx.
That was crazy, Nick. In December of 2021, when I went to work and it was in the 70s and I left and it was in the 30s.
Dodge was basically a river for 10 minutes.
That was not fun.
In the river,
That
boom,
was
boom,
not
boom, 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 boom. I don't know why.
Oh, keep going.
I got nothing for you, friends.
Yeah, it's just tired. Jesse's triggered because he showed me a picture of David Von Erich. I guess he was more ripped.
Oh, wow, look at those muscles.
I'm thinking of another Von Erich then.
Aaron writes
Not
into
that it
the
matters. I mean, I'm sure Zac Efron will be great.
Aaron writes into the text machine. Efron has been yoked for a while. Maybe it's more because I haven't seen a picture, but he has been on the juice for some time, allegedly. Yeah, he has been ripped.
He's on the juice?
That's apparently, allegedly, according to Aaron's sources.
It's too bad that people get yoked and instantly everyone thinks they're on something.
He looks goofier though now. It looks kind of like fake muscles because of the person he's apparently playing.
Well, you're going to see Zac Efron if you watched Parkland with him not yoked.
Uh-huh.
And we'll be reviewing that with Kent today in the movie club. Parker Gabriel will join us next hour to discuss Sean Payton in the National Football League again.
Parker
as a coach
again. He's
of
going
the
to coach
Broncos
again. Rusty says Efron was also in Baywatch and got in great shape for that. Did you
He
watch
was in Baywatch?
Did you watch the new?
Yeah, there was a new Baywatch movie. It had The Rock and Zac Efron.
Oh, the movie. I thought you meant the TV show. I was going to
No.
say he's not old enough to be in Baywatch, but I forgot they.
Yep,
made a
there he is. Look
movie
at
about it.
ripped man. Jeez, that dude just is like.
He was pretty good
You know
at
what?
Neighbors.
Good on him, and I am not going to shame him.
I'm not.
I like
and
Zac Efron.
assume that just because he looks like he's buff,
Yeah, Aaron.
That he's taking the juice. He's on the juice. He's on the cream and the clear.
Wow, geez.
He's been digging around in Mark McGuire's locker.
Is this what Aaron is saying? Aaron.
I hope not.
I hope not.
I'm
either.
not going to.
Yeah.
It just seems rude.
Carrie Von Erich is what Eric says. This is the Von Erich you're thinking of.
Yeah,
Eric texts about Carrie Von Erich.
Carrie was the Texas Tornado. That was his nickname.
That's a cool nickname.
Not really.
Wow.
Amazing Daniel says, I'm not ripped at all, and people think I'm on something. Sad. Well, Daniel, do they think you're on the something that Nick wants to be on? I think that's maybe what they mean. You got the long hair, you got the tats going. You're into music.
Oh, I like this. Josh now stereotyping. Well, he's got long hair, tats, and listens to music. He must be on something.
Ha! I mean, I'm just saying. I can see.
What are you, a suburban dad from the 80s?
I'm just saying. I can see why people would think he'd be on something.
Even I don't think the Amazing Daniel's on something.
You have tattoos,
you just
Josh. Are
right
you on something?
No, I'm not. Again, it's the hair. It's the long hair.
Wow.
Oh, the people.
Look,
with the
I want
long
more
hair.
tattoos too. Maybe people will assume that I'm into things. That's fine. I'll be like, I'm into one thing and one thing specifically.
And what is that?
I don't have a core. I forgot to go out during the commercial break. I'm gonna wait till it's warmer. It's 23 degrees now.
You're gonna be in here for a minute.
Yeah, it's a little chilly.
Yeah, just a smidge. So that's what's coming up today. As far as the guests, brought to you by the Rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard. Also, we didn't get to the update on sports gambling.
Oh yeah, we can bet on the Super Bowl.
Well, we can by using promo code 1620
Oh,
using the FanDuel Sportsbook.
in
when
Iowa.
we're in Iowa.
Iowa.
The longest divorce proceedings in the history of college athletics apparently is going to go to full term.
Oh wow.
I know it's mixing metaphors, but
Yeah, that was quite a few metaphors.
it was. But
What's that called when you mix metaphors?
A mixed metaphor.
a mixed metaphor.
No, I thought there was no, like, we'll burn that bridge when we get there. Is that the same thing?
No, that's just the misuse of a metaphor.
Yeah.
A mixed metaphor. See, I said divorce, and then I mixed in go to term as in
No, I get that.
pregnancy.
It's,
Pregnancy, divorce.
So
and
Nick,
pregnancy.
people have sex, right?
Oh.
Then they have babies.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Malaphor.
Malaphor?
That's the word I was looking for.
What's a malaphor?
The erroneous mixing of two metaphors.
Oh, so that's a fancy way of saying mixing metaphor. A malaphor. How's it spelled?
Malaphor.
I never heard of that. PH or FO?
Malaphor.
I figured that sounded like a
Ladies and
PH.
gentlemen, malaphor
Oh.
is our word of the day.
So what happens with that word?
Well, we're gonna. Now you're gonna have to remind me of this, but be listening. We won't do it now.
Later.
But we do have tickets to see
Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton.
Yep. Chris
He
Stapleton.
said very confidently.
Win it before you can buy
At
him.
CHI Health Center coming up in July. In July. And we have a pair of tickets. So be listening, and you will have to regurgitate today's word of the day.
Which is
Malaphor.
That's the last time we're going to say it.
Well, no,
Until
we'll
the next time.
We'll definitely say it again.
Okay.
We'll definitely say it again. But just remember that word malaphor.
Malaphor.
It's a cool, I kind of like it.
It's a cool word.
Good job, Nick.
It
Thank
almost
you.
sounds like
Morbius.
I don't know. It sounds like a word that's more important, has a more important meaning than just mixed metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, like the nuclear fission would have properly engaged, but the malaphor was out of sequence.
I can see that.
Something like that.
Thomas writes into the Equitable Bank inbox, which you can write in, Josh at 1620thezone.com or John at 1620thezone.com.
You can, and because at Equitable, they take banking personally and answer the phone on the first ring.
He says, actually, we've had a 60-degree day in February for the majority of the last 15 years. I know because I usually play disc golf on that day and had a 6 or 7 year streak interrupted by a 60-degree February day where I went to the TD Ameritragedy hockey event. The next year wasn't 60 degrees, but I think every year since has had one. Yeah, you remember that? They did the hockey game, but it was really warm.
It was warm, and the sun was beating down on the rink, and the rink part of the rink wouldn't stay frozen.
Mhm.
Love frolf. Frolf is
Mhm.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
You ever go frolfing?
Frolf. That's right, frisbee golf.
I'm not a disc golf guy. I played it.
Frolf.
I always find myself miserable, though.
I've done it a few times. I've got a couple friends who are really.
Did you
into
know
it.
that they
Can't
have
stand it.
different
No offense, Thomas.
discs? Like you have different
Oh,
clubs.
yeah.
They have different discs depending on the shot.
Oh,
that
it's
you're
a
trying
whole
to-
thing.
Nerds.
Oh yeah.
Rusty says Malaphor sounds like the name of a drug old guys take to perform.
And it does,
man.
doesn't it?
When the timing is right,
Malaphor.
you need to read for some Malaphor. Honey, I got the Malaphor. Oh, thank God. And then they're sitting in an empty bathtub on the cliff.
An empty bathtub
At
on
Pebble
the cliff.
Beach. They're just looking over the cliff.
Looking over the cliff.
Too dangerous.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of grass
Look at all
there
the
now.
grass.
While Justin Spieth is playing a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the Malaphor is kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
Also sounds like the name of a monster. Something from Star Wars.
It could be, or it could be like
It's
a
the
monster
Malaphor.
that Godzilla faced. Godzilla versus the Malaphor.
Oh, that was the 8th sequel, I believe.
That'd be awesome if it was Godzilla versus the Malaphor, and all it was just this giant blob that just mixes up
mixed metaphors. Wow.
And then it literally just bores Godzilla to death.
See, SNL.
And that's how
SNL. We just gave you another skit.
Another one.
Wow. Lauren Michaels.
Then the whole
Godzilla
skit could
versus
be
the
full of Malaphors.
Oh, see? Look at
We're
us.
onto something here.
John, have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Nope.
Kyrie Irving wants to be traded. Suitors have emerged. The Lakers, the Suns, and the Mavericks.
Oh,
according
good.
to Shams.
Put Kyrie back together with LeBron. That sounds like it would
Good
work
Lord.
great.
Can you imagine wanting to trade for Kyrie Irving? Look at him and you're like, that's the guy we want on our team.
Yeah.
What a disaster.
They could trade him to the Phoenix Flat Earthers. That's who
boy.
they could trade him to.
Oh, boy. Spot to lie, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
402-951-1620 if you want to give us a jingle jangle on the old hotline, or you can use it as a text line. If you want to just send Josh random Malaphors today.
Well,
you can.
Aaron now is following up about drug use in Hollywood. And I mean, this is my really good friend, so I'm just going to make fun of him next time I see him. He's like, well, actually, Christian Bale gained weight one time and lost weight one time.
I don't know if you know this, but a lot of actors have gained and lost weight for roles.
He's
like
basically
Tom
saying
Hanks,
they're all on
Tom Hanks
steroids.
literally took months off
Castaway.
to play
Castaway.
with the volleyball in Castaway.
Yep, he was fatter at the beginning of the movie, and he lost all that weight, Nick, because he was on an island for 4 years.
Is that what it was?
By himself.
It wasn't 4 years, was it?
Was it 4 years?
Was it 4?
That's what it was supposed to be, yeah.
Wow.
For some reason, I thought it was only like 2. Not that that's being stuck on it.
Remember, he came back, and suddenly they were the Tennessee Titans. And he was like, what? There's a football team in Nashville?
And they lost. That was my favorite part of the movie when she was telling the story of the Tennessee Titans. And I perked up and I said, yes, and Mike Jones made the tackle. And the Rams have won the Super Bowl.
That reminds me of one of my favorite Super Bowl commercials of all time.
Which, by the way, I was also triggered at the fact that he didn't say, what, you mean the Rams are in St. Louis?
One of my favorite commercials for the Super Bowl, I think it might be the favorite of mine, is for FedEx. And it's like him taking the box to the woman. Did you see Castaway?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the very end of the movie, he takes the box.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, by the way, what's in that? And she's like, oh, not too much. Just like a GPS satellite phone and some seeds and basically like all the things that he would have needed and survived with while he was stuck on that island.
That's
and
funny.
he's very sad about it.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. You can also hit us up, JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at USC1620. Use the hashtag OneBeerFriday if you're already playing with a little something extra today on this Friday.
Jealous.
Yeah, we'll be kicking in a little bit later on here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct in 1620 The Zone.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
Here's this week's Maverick Minute. Omaha Maverick hockey improves to 14-10-2 after securing a weekend split with the number 9 Western Michigan Broncos last Saturday with a 2-0 shutout victory. Omaha hockey is idle this coming weekend before welcoming the Colorado College Tigers to Baxter Arena next weekend for a 2-game series. And that's your Maverick Minute on your home for the Mavs. News Talk 1290, 1180 The Zone, and 1620 The Zone.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
A bunch of redneck idiots.
On 1620 The Zone.
We were talking to, when we had our friend Mitch Sherman on Monday, he was in... That was lame.
You got to shake it, Josh.
Well, you need to hold. You needed to hold.
I
up
did.
to
I
the
did
mic.
it to the camera.
Who cares about? I want to hear it.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't hear it.
Take it out. Put it
another
back
one
in.
But I didn't. No. You got to put another one.
I
in.
didn't have any more quarters. I just had a bunch of dimes and nickels and pennies.
Anyway, we were talking to Mitch Sherman about
2 dimes, 1 nickel.
His pending story,
which came out today
on Dylan Raiola, which did come out today. It was a nice feature story on Dylan and his journey, and talking to the family, getting quotes from different folks, including
parents,
including Matt Stafford, Super Bowl champion quarterback Matt Stafford, by the way. And I had not really linked the two. Of course, Stafford, when he was in Detroit, his first center was Dominic Raiola. They became good friends, and Stafford has been kind of a surrogate uncle to Dylan.
Yep. And then his real uncle is at Nebraska. People forget.
Well, but Stafford, who was a star at
Georgia.
Yeah, you wonder, where the influences come from. As I read the story,
What's your takeaway?
Well, my first takeaway is that, and you hate to do this to anybody, but it sounds like he's a can't miss.
Yep.
He's got the physical traits. They could tell from his early age that he could throw like crazy.
I thought it was funny
his catching abilities in college or in high school as a catcher. His arm is just tremendous. But the way he studies the game, the way he trains, he's trained with Patrick Mahomes, he's trained with Joe Burrow, he's been to a lot of the big camps.
John Kidner was his coach.
And the fact, he comes from good stock, obviously. The Raiola family is...
I didn't know that stuff about his mom. How his mom was obviously a great athlete,
mom
too.
was a great athlete.
It was funny that
his sister's a volleyball player in college.
His dad's like, I thought he was going to be a lineman. And it's like, nope, he's instead the best quarterback in the country.
Right.
And
his younger brother, too.
Yeah, that I took away, first and foremost, I think, is that they are very good at playing everything close to the vest.
Yes, they are. Dylan does a nice job of talking up everybody.
Like
very savvy.
Dude, every interview he does, if you just read about the one team he talks about, because he'll do an interview with the USC side or a Georgia side, it's like, wow, they're the obvious favorite.
Yep.
And then you read the other one, it's like, oh, he just says the same stuff about everybody.
Yep.
I was even stunned that we didn't learn more about why he decommitted from Ohio State. Because that's the one, it's such a fascinating part to his recruitment that we still really don't have an answer. And I guess part of it, and Mitch gets into it and they talk about it. I guess reading the tea leaves of it, John, is it that he maybe was rushed? He rushed into a decision, not like Brian Day forced him, but he made a decision. And in hindsight, he was not ready to yet make that decision. Because remember, He committed in May. He was still finishing up his sophomore year of high school. I don't know about you. When I was a sophomore in high school, I was 15. I turned 16 that year. So he's very young. And so I wonder if it was that. I still, though, like I ask myself, and I've asked others ever since he decommitted, does he know something about Ohio State that we don't? Was there some sort of intel that he got that we don't know? Or, and this is, I guess, where I'll put on the rose-colored glasses, is the timing of it all with Matt Rule coming back, that actually he does want to go to Nebraska. And when they finally got a new coach, that was the thing. Because there was one passage in particular, and I don't want to read from it verbatim, but it basically kind of ended with him saying that, Matt Rule is what Nebraska football needed. And so there's just a part of me that's like, I mean, you and I are still kind of in the same boat. We think he's going to end up with Nebraska. So I guess that would make sense as to why he decommitted from Ohio State when he did.
Yet you think about the other options out there, Georgia.
Yeah, national champions.
Kings of the sport right now.
Lincoln Riley, you'll win a Heisman most likely.
Lincoln Riley.
And you'll be a top draft pick.
That's the other thing. It's win a Heisman. And, oh, by the way, he's got one of his alums playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, how about the fact that of all the quarterbacks he's had so far, the least thought of guy is the one in the Super Bowl first. Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall draft pick. Kyler Murray, number 1 overall draft pick. Caleb Williams is going to be number 1 overall draft pick. But the guy, and he only had him for a year, but the guy who was in the second round is the first one in the Super Bowl.
That is a tremendous selling point.
Oh my gosh.
To say that, I mean, it's almost, and
we've
Caleb,
never seen
by
this
the way,
before.
Caleb Williams
he'll be number 1 overall.
Is going to be destined to be in that spot. I mean, the fact that you can go to somebody, it's like when you're, if you're Zac Efron and you're working out. Hey, do you want to,
with or without the
roids? Do you want body shaping by Arnold Schwarzenegger or body shaping by John Bishop? Seriously, it's like go to the dude who's been there, done that, and is won and looks tremendous and all this other stuff. And that's where you are with Lincoln Riley. And yet, because of Nebraska, because of Uncle Don, because of his dad being an alum and the connection that was already there, it wouldn't be a shock if he committed to Nebraska. So there's a lot of different things at play here. And as I read the article, honestly, one of the other takeaways I got was thinking about that whole process going, are we sure Nebraska's going to be the two? Are we sure Nebraska's the school? And again, Dylan, again, please stop with the D's, people. Just find another.
Ooh,
is that a quarter?
Oh, is that a quarter?
Is that a quarter?
I think it might be.
I think that's quarter worthy.
Uh-huh.
I hate the Raiolas.
Ha!
You should commit to Washington State.
Nice.
Dude, that's how you drop a quarter, Josh.
I apologize.
So, yeah, you know what? From now on, I'm just going to call everyone Raiola. Raiola. Which one are you talking about? Doesn't matter. Raiola.
It's just Raiola.
Or just D Raiola. But anyway, Dylan choosing Nebraska and being so savvy with how he discusses things.
Yep. By the way,
and listen, I gave up being excited about following recruiting for many lengths ago. But if there's one thing that would intrigue me, it will be watching the Raiola recruitment.
Well, and especially if they land him. If they land him, just to see what that actually means. Because we always talk about it, right? A quarterback is the recruiter of the class. A number 1 overall quarterback. Like this would truly be, something unique and different that we haven't seen around
It would be a game changer.
Like Harrison Beck, I know what he became, but him in the moment when he committed, he wasn't this. No one has been this. And so to get the number 1 player in the country, even if he's a legacy guy, it would be unlike anything we have ever seen. And, it would be that first kind of planting the flag moment really for Matt Rule and Nebraska.
Sure it would.
So that'd be a pretty big deal.
Sure it would. So anyway, I encourage you, if you have a subscription, go read it. If you don't, you should get a subscription. The Athletic is a great resource for a lot of excellent stories. And Mitch with a super story on Raiola.
Yeah, and by the way, he
and
does,
the Raiolas.
He does plan to return to USC a visit. He already has trips scheduled for Georgia next month, Nebraska next month as well. Michigan, Oregon also apparently in the mix. Michigan, that's the first time I'd heard their name in the mix in the later
Did
process.
Texas ever have them with the chicken fried lobster?
No, but Texas already has a guy by the name of Arch Manning, who was this year's #1 quarterback recruit. So I think Texas is fine. And you know what? I think we could do in a pinch if Matt Rule called down to either the training table or some restaurant in Lincoln. In fact, I've had chicken fried prime rib. At a Lincoln restaurant. It was good.
David says
it was really good. So if he needed to do a chicken fried prime rib, I think they could find. I think they could figure it out.
David says if he signs with NU, it's like Tommy Frazier 2.0. And the difference, of course, this time around is the era of recruiting we're in. Because, I can't speak. Well, Tommy was a late in the game ad, right? This would be, in theory, an early in the process ad, which allows for him to.
Yeah, but it's just a different time. You know, you didn't.
Whereas now he can send messages to people.
People just didn't cover recruiting like they cover it today.
It'd be way different. Different.
It would certainly be different.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, Parker Gabriel to join us in just a few. And more of Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Woodhouse Chevy in Missouri Valley, trying to make the car buying experience a lot more comfortable, a lot less stressful, just a smarter experience and a convenient one. You know, when you go to woodhousegm.com, you can value your trade. You can fill out the credit app. You can do just about everything that you can do in person except take the test drive, but you can schedule the test drive at woodhousegm.com. And at Woodhouse Chevy, you can chat with their friendly staff, either in person or online. Again, woodhousegm.com. And right now at Woodhouse Chevy in Missouri Valley, you can get the 2023 Chevy Equinox. Safety, technology, delivering confidence and style on every journey. And you can lease a 23 Chevy Equinox for just $329 a month for 36 months, or receive 2.99% APR when you finance through GM Financial. At Woodhouse Chevy, they take the pressure out of car buying. So whether you're shopping in our dealership in Missouri Valley or online from home or wherever you are at woodhousegm.com, experience the Woodhouse difference today. Woodhouse Chevy off of I-29, exit 75 Missouri Valley, or woodhousegm.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you won't find PTSD by looking at a thermometer. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a bandage. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Every human civilization has made meatballs. It's something primal yet very elegant. Same goes for the Blackstone meatball, where you can build your own bowl of elegance. Pick your protein, choose your sauce and side, add a super salad, a tasty adult beverage, and wonderfulness. Vegan and gluten-free options available too. The Blackstone meatball, with 2 awesome locations in the Blackstone district at 39th and Harney, and out west on Chicago Street at 180th and West Dodge, and at theblackstonemeatball.com.
Many business owners and entrepreneurs today are drowning in unsecured debt and just can't stop incurring more. Business Debtors Anonymous is a 12-step recovery program where you will receive support for doing business and living life without incurring new unsecured debt. Business Debtors Anonymous offers meetings every day where members support one another to help them stop incurring new unsecured debt. You're not alone. Visit helpfordebtors.org. That's helpfordebtors.org.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no per-ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. 402-951-1620. Blue Jay basketball tomorrow night, 6:30 against Villanova. 5 o'clock pregame. Game is a sellout, by the way.
Yeah.
They sell out. And so it just goes to show you, Villanova, even though they're not having a Villanova-like season, still a big draw. That, and I think, it's a Saturday night. It's the first Saturday night game of the year. There's something special about Saturday night at home.
That. Oh, definitely.
There's just something special about a Saturday night game.
Wow, look. Nick, cut that out and have it saved for the football season when John poo-poos fans for being excited about a Saturday night game.
Marked.
One time. It's okay for one time, but if it was every game, that would be bad.
Every game.
Well, if they played every game on Saturday night, college basketball
Plus,
season lasts 9 months.
Plus, I don't have to do a 3-hour post-game show after a night game.
Well, you could if you wanted to.
No, that's for Jim. Jimmy does that.
A 3-hour post game.
Well,
Jimmy,
it's not 3 hours.
Jimmy Allen promises to give you 3 hours on Saturday.
It's not necessarily 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Once in a while, it's fine. I like a little variety.
I was listening to Happer on the way in today, and he was looking at this game with a little concern, or maybe wondering if there should be concern, just given maybe it's a little easier this year than every year to overlook Villanova.
Oh, it most certainly is.
It
most certainly is. I guarantee we're going to have it in predictions coming up. That point spread's going to be above 10 against Villanova. I mean, the thought of that is just like absurd. And with Justin Moore having returned after he blew out, he blew out his Achilles last year during the NCAA tournament. He just came back to action in the game last Sunday. So this will be his third game back. With him, you've got 4 starters from a Final Four team last year.
And yet it's a team that's obviously really struggled.
It has, but they've also, they took Providence to the limit, first place Providence, then first place Providence to the limit. And they took first place Marquette to the limit in back-to-back games. So, yeah, you're going to look at the record and say, oh, they're 10-12. They're not that good. This should be an easy win. No, never. And, that's one extra game for Justin Moore. He's probably going to feel even more confident because it takes you a while. We saw it with Kalkbrenner, and he wasn't out, with a ailment or an injury nearly as severe as a blown out Achilles. But it takes you a couple of games before you feel like you have your sea legs back, especially if you haven't played all season. Well, this will be the third game back. So absolutely. This is one you absolutely cannot overlook.
Plus, in this moment, and we've talked about it lately with the men, they're picking up wins. The talk about them being on the bubble or missing the tournament, like that feels a few weeks now in the rear view. You finally allowed yourself to look at the bracket matrix and you see where they suddenly find themselves, and it's a team squarely in the tournament at this moment in time.
Yes.
And now last month of the year, last full month of the college basketball regular season. And this is one of those games, quote unquote, that you should win. If you can get victories over Xavier last Saturday, you absolutely can. Now, I said yesterday, following the win, maybe a little closer than expected against Georgetown, that, a lot of ways that you can talk yourself into that game only being a 10-point victory, right? Versus the Hoyas, coming off the emotional game atmosphere, all of that stuff for the pink out game on Saturday, excuse me. So you had all that, road trip. You described the atmosphere. One of the worst that you have ever seen. And you've been on the call for over a decade now.
Terrible.
It was horrible. And so you put all of those things together. Look, they still won by double digits, and yet it was like, wish they could have.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was no question about it. It was one of their lesser offensive performances of the year.
Yeah, and so you follow that up with a bounce back, whatever it is, of good performance. They cover the spread. They look really good. And then I think all of the ways that we described the Georgetown win yesterday, I think fit. They come out, that doesn't happen. You look back and you say, was that a warning sign?
A rebound.
A rebound. So that's what makes tomorrow so interesting. And that, look, it's still a name brand program. The fact that they have all those players back from a Final Four team, we went over some stuff with Ravi yesterday. What do you attribute their current struggles with? Is it new coach? Is it the injuries? Not enough talent? And I'm with him. If they had Jay Wright, they'd certainly be a better team right now because Jay Wright was that good of a coach.
Sure he was.
But they could, they should still scare you because they can still scare you.
Yeah, this is one of those where if things go south, that on paper, assuming that Villanova continues to hover around 500 or maybe even a little below 500, it's going to look like a bad loss. It could be one of those where you hope that a committee really dives in deep and looks deeper into the reason why, because I think this is a team that now in its current construct is better than its record.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, especially when you're picking 68 teams, of which, half of them, a little over half of them are at large. So you really have to measure the resumes and you really have to compare the two. You hope that a game like this is you drill down. Same as if Creighton wins. If Creighton wins, as they're expected to do tomorrow, it's still one where you hope that a committee will drill into a little bit and say, oh, but that's a little bit better win than what the raw numbers tell you, because it's a team with 4, returning players from a Final Four team that just got one key member back and a lot of other things. But, that's the game that you play this time of year when you're in college basketball. And the defending of home court this year in the Big East, it has been tough to win on the road.
Well, that's what this last month is going to come down to.
Yes.
And if a team falls off the top spot or from that kind of collection of teams, in my opinion, and I think yours, it would be because of home losses. Where home or that team, the team that rises, goes on the road and gets road wins.
Because right now, none of the top 4 teams in the conference standings have lost a home game in conference.
Crazy.
Which means they're also beating each other at home. No one's stolen one yet. Providence came very close the other night at Xavier, but came up a couple of points short.
Yeah, we saw Xavier Creighton. They traded blows, tit for tat.
Evan Miyakawa, who is a college basketball, what's the word I'm looking for? Analytics person.
Okay.
Had a graphic. He put it out on Twitter. He said, how tough is it for good teams to win on the road in conference play? And the table that he created looks at the game performance of teams in the top half of their conference for all road conference games, as well for just the road games where the team didn't play well, didn't cover the spread. And right now, for the road game performance in the teams in the top half of the standings, the conference with the third lowest road game win percentage is the Big East. Road teams are 20-17. In the Big 12, it's 11-11, and in the Big 10, it's 16-20. So it's a little harder in the Big 10.
So do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think the home court advantages are that good? Is it the teams are that? I mean, the teams can't be that good because it's a very evenly balanced conference. Luck is obviously involved.
I mean, the home court advantages, say for Georgetown, are really good.
Yeah.
And I would argue that home court in men's or in college basketball has a greater effect than most, if not all, other major team sports. I know we've seen the survey, we've seen the study of, NFL, NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, home field or home ice or home court advantages, and how, baseball has the least pronounced home field advantage. And that's in the pro sports. But in college sports, and I think probably more so basketball than football. And I don't have any numbers to back this up.
I would have a theory on this on top of it.
But it just seems like it. If you look at the biggest upsets in college basketball, and because there's just a sheer more volume of games, there's more upsets annually in college basketball. You see them on the road where the upsetting, or you see it where the upsetting team is at home.
You know what?
And it is so difficult.
Let me give you two theories on this. The first one would be weeknight games and that they're in college. So in the pros, that's their job. Weeknight basketball is the thing.
Sure.
College basketball, you usually have one weeknight game a week. So, and if it's a Wednesday, you're screwing with your classes, you're getting away.
Yep.
Sometimes you're staying over a little longer, yada, yada, yada. So I'd say that. And obviously, a lot of the arenas are older and they're built in a specific way where it allows for the fans to feel more on top of you.
Well, even the newer arenas. Look at Texas.
Yeah.
Texas dramatically improved its home court advantage by getting out of the old Drum, the Irwin Center, and moving to their new building where Creighton played this year.
And having the students.
And the students were right there. And the problem with the Drum is, the noise wasn't as intense. This building was built more kind of straight up, and the acoustics.
Yep.
They really went next level with this facility.
Well,
and Xavier, that's a newer. Cintas is only about 25 years old, so it's a newish building.
CHI's not that old.
A great home court advantage.
Yeah. Well, we had the email yesterday from a listener talking about how he's actually a bigger fan of Nebraska basketball than football, and he said, I like a big-time basketball atmosphere more than I like a big-time football atmosphere.
Because the fans are right on top of you. You can hear them. You're shooting into the crowd when you're on the road, and you're shooting in.
And again,
usually
man,
into
having
the
to deal with the travel around classes is difficult.
So it is, but this year especially, it seems like it's been even more pronounced in the Big East. By the way, he also he looked at all the road games where the top half team in the standings didn't cover. The Big East is 1-14. The one lack of a cover was Wednesday night. Creighton missed by 13 points, or 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points
in covering against Georgetown.
Interesting.
So, winning on the road this year seems to be even more pronounced. And you wonder how much of that will factor in. And with the committee always changing, there's always new members of the committee. But you do wonder. And I know that a lot of the metrics that they use, the net ranking, prioritizes road wins more so than home wins. And there are things kind of baked into the formula. But you also wonder if stuff like this, where it has been even harder for teams to win on the road in these major conferences, is going to weigh heavier in their thought process when they're comparing a couple of teams. Like, for example, if you compare a Big East team or a Big Ten team to an SEC team. SEC this year, the winning percentage on the road is basically 66%. But you do wonder if you look at that and go, well, it was a little harder for them to win on the road this year.
Mm-hmm.
And this team happened to win a couple on the road. It might bump them up a little bit in the eyes of the committee. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Plus, kind of going back to something we said a couple minutes ago, just looking at the rest of this month and then next, the teams that can buck this trend, that's where we could see a lot of the moving and shaking. The ones who can hold serve on this, gonna be feeling pretty good. And then obviously the good teams that can go on the road and pick up some W's.
Right.
And that's why tomorrow night's so important for Creighton.
Tomorrow night is very important. Very important. So again, 5:30 or 5 o'clock, I should say, pregame with a 6:30 tip. And it is a stripe out. They are striping out the arena.
And they're not giving out the shirts. They're telling you which shirts to wear.
Yes.
A striped one, right?
Except for, no.
Oh, no?
No, it's not a striped shirt. It's the arena itself will be striped out. Every section.
Section 102 wears like blue or white.
Oh, that's way cooler than what I said.
Yes, definitely.
So it'll look like, a blue and white, pinwheel.
But they're not giving out the shirts.
Right.
So they're like the pink out, they gave out the shirts. But this one, you
Like,
got
hey, you're sitting here, wear this color.
My guess is they
No,
send
when
it.
they do the whiteout at Penn State, they don't give out the shirts.
They don't give out the shirts. Yeah, but that's easy, right? It's just everyone wear white. This one, you got to.
I mean,
you
if
got to
you're
look.
if you're a Creighton fan, first of all, everyone has white.
What
shirts.
about the olds though?
Everyone has white.
No,
shirts.
no. It's not that. It's figuring out which section you're in. What would you do? Would you just bring both shirts just to be safe? Have a backup shirt?
Like a blue hoodie.
There's a
but
map.
white
You
shirt
look it up, and
But
it's
what
right
if you're
there.
80 years old? Watch the internet. You don't know how to get online?
I'm guessing that they
Juno?
have. Well, when you consider that now all the tickets are digital, you have to be able to get online.
So you have to be able to be on the internet?
Yeah, and I'm sure that
Chris Berman doesn't have an
the
email.
athletic
Welcome
department
to the
sent out
internet.
an email saying, "Hey, don't forget this is the stripe out game, and you're in section
What if-
102, and you need to wear blue."
What if Phyllis and Deschler is waiting for the letter in the mail to
Well,
arrive?
if Phyllis in Deschler is waiting for the mail, right?
far is
The
Deschler?
fact that she's coming from Deschler, which from here is about 2.5 hours away.
That's not too bad.
I'm guessing Phyllis in Deschler probably isn't that concerned.
Come on, Phyllis. Oh, I didn't realize that was where Deschler was. I always figured Deschler would have been way out in the panhandle. It's
No,
just in,
it's on the
it's
Kansas
just in
border.
the eastern part of western Nebraska.
It's
south of York.
It's southwest. It's straight south of York, southwest of Lincoln,
Yeah, it's
right
just
on the
a-
Kansas border.
Just a straight little line.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
My
Phyllis-
great grandma lived in Deschler.
Really?
Yeah.
Leppincott?
No. Great grandma.
Ika. I haven't heard about this family member.
Well, she's on the bishop side.
Ah, okay.
Was from Deschler.
Would she know to check her email?
She passed away a long time ago. Never probably touched a computer in her life.
Dang. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Kenny says the striping won't work unless they provide the appropriate section sweater vests. That's true. Will they be handing out sweater vests?
You know, it's funny. As many Creighton games as I've been to,
Never seen a sweater vest?
I could probably count the number of actual sweater vests I have seen in the crowd on one hand.
You need to call a game wearing a sweater vest.
You
sometime.
should.
This would be a good bit.
The next one with Ravi.
Yes.
Ravi in a suit, John in a sweater vest.
I like this idea. It's a good
I'm
look.
fine.
It's a good look.
There's nothing wrong with a good
Maybe-
sweater vest, especially this time of year when they tell you it's going to be 50 degrees, but in actuality, it's going to feel like 12.
Wow, that'd be some hot wind or cold wind.
Parker Gabriel will be joining us next from the Denver Post. The Broncos hired a new coach, but they still have the same quarterback. Coming up on 1620 The Zone, John Bishop here for McCarthy's 1 hour heating and air conditioning, the folks who are always on time or you don't pay a dime. And you do not want to be a statistic. If you have not gotten your gas furnace inspected in the last year, please make an appointment right now with McCarthy's 1 hour heating and air conditioning. Because the heat exchangers in furnaces age over time, they start to wear. That leaks carbon monoxide, potentially deadly carbon monoxide gas into the air. And the problem with carbon monoxide is you can't detect it unless you have a carbon monoxide detector. And McCarthy's 1 hour right now, with each maintenance inspection that you schedule through the end of February, McCarthy's will provide half off on carbon monoxide detectors. So not only do you get your furnace inspected to make sure it's running efficiently and safely, you'll also have a carbon monoxide detector to take all of the stress out and know that your family is staying safe. So visit McCarthy's1hour.com and schedule that furnace inspection today with McCarthy's 1 hour heating and air conditioning.
The Connor Happer Show.
By the way, guys, corn dogs, not a thing. I love corn dogs. You dip them in mustard, you eat one at the fair. Corn dogs are a delicious food, but I'm talking about corn, DAWGS, the intersection of Nebraska and Georgia football players. We're not calling those guys corn dogs. We're not doing it. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Your Friday evening forecast will include partly cloudy skies with temperatures dipping into the lower 20s around daybreak Saturday. By the afternoon, a few clouds with temperatures warming into the upper 40s. In Omaha, I'm tracking a high temperature of 49 degrees. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Hi, friends. Kent Pavelka courtside getting ready for this year's matchup between the Average Roofing Companies and the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. The average roofers are just that, average at best, not very impressive. The Rooferees, above and beyond the opponent, more dependable, service that exceeds the norm, good sportsmanship, fairness, and integrity. You know them, you love them, and they're ready to win for you. Make the right call with John Higgins Weather Guard. It's tip-off time with the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees.
Join Genesis Health Clubs today for just $10 and save $20 per month every month with no contract. Hi, I'm Rodney Stephen, owner of Genesis Health Clubs, here with the secret to healthy fitness habits. It's true that there are plenty of people who manage to stay consistent with exercise over lunch or after work, but the real secret is scheduling exercise into your daily routine. Pick a time, and that is your time to exercise. What is more important than your health? Nothing. So what time are you working out tomorrow? I'm inviting you to give it a try by joining Genesis Health Clubs for just $10 and save $20 a month, all with no contract. Whether your exercise is at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., schedule your exercise because it's the most important part of your schedule. And now life's little interruptions won't stand in your way. My dad always told us, don't put something off till tomorrow that you can do today. Make today your day for better health. Come into any Genesis location or go online and get started for just $10 and save $20 per month with no contract. Go to GenesisHealthClubs.com to get started today.
NRG Media in Omaha is looking for a sales assistant. This person will assist our sales team that sells radio advertising and digital marketing campaigns for our 7 radio stations. Work in a creative, fun, and fast-paced environment as you keep things organized. Collaborate with our account executives and on-air talent. Learn and grow. Interested in learning more? Go to the careers page at nrgmedia.com and look for the Omaha sales assistant position. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Mini bowling. What is it? It's Bob and Willie's Wonder Bowl. That's what is it. Bob and Willie's Wonder Bowl is half the size, but twice the fun of regular bowling. Smaller balls and shorter lanes means it's easier to play. Enjoy craft cocktails, beer pitcher specials, arcade games. From the kitchen, there's tavern-style pizza, fries, and wings, too. Plan your next party with mini bowling. Great for team building, birthdays, graduations, holiday parties, and more. Bob and Willie's Wonder Bowl, 38th and Bottom in Omaha, and coming soon to Lincoln. Click wonderbowling.com.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
On 1620, The Zone.
Parker.
Welcome back, 402-951-1620. Second straight offseason, the Denver Broncos have made a bold move to try to upgrade their fortunes in the very difficult AFC West, home of the Chargers and the Raiders and some other team.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect the Chiefs. Parker Gabriel, who covers the Broncos for the Denver Post, joining us here on the program. Parker, how are things?
Going great. I like to think that you guys play that drop even on the not on the rare occasion when I'm about to come on the radio.
We play it quite a bit. We love that.
It's
drop.
on my main drop.
See, the problem is
Parker.
it's a SIP classic, so occasionally just, SIP does things, and then we get one of these.
Parker.
I drove there shirtless.
Well, speaking of shirtless, how many Bronco fans were dancing in the street shirtless when the news broke on Wednesday that Sean Payton was going to be the next head coach?
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but fan bases do this thing where they start out wanting one thing, and then when that thing doesn't seem like it's going to happen, they shift really hard to wanting another thing, and then it just kind of goes. Even though they're like, fans will say like, "Oh, well, I don't want this, I don't want that." But then, like after a while, you sort of come around to it. So, like Sean Payton was the guy everybody wanted a month ago, and then it was Harbaugh, and then it became DeMeco Ryans when it seemed like that was going to happen. So it's kind of funny because they hired a guy that's won 152 games in the NFL. He's won a Super Bowl, and a lot of people are like, "Yeah, he was their third pick, or he this, or he that, or whatever." But I think people overall are excited and will be once the 5 and 12 a little further in the rear view.
Parker, you mentioned DeMeco Ryans, and I wanted to ask you about him. Like, what do we know and what don't we know about the continued efforts of landing him before the news came down earlier this week? Because we had a source-off between a couple of the national folks in Adam Schefter and then in Ian Rappaport, where they were both reporting different things.
Yeah, that was an all-time. That was a classic source-off.
Mhm.
I think, so what I know is that Denver really liked him and that they thought they were in the mix for him. And I've been told on good authority that they didn't have direct contact with him after Sunday. So, like, from maybe they checked with him right after the NFC Championship game, but more or less that was the last time they talked to him or his agent. I will say, I know also that on Tuesday, they were at least aware of what was happening in Houston, that he was going down there and all that. I mean, he was one of their top guys. And I don't know that, I think he was probably the guy that they wanted, but you know how these things go. Like, I also think that it wasn't just on Tuesday that they changed, they moved off him. He started to have either second thoughts about Denver or, he was wrestling with his options, and if Houston sort of emerged as maybe his pick, that was late the week before. And that was when they really, that was when Payton really picked up steam. And so I don't think those things are entirely coincidental, but I also think it's fair to say that the Broncos had, pretty good options or a pretty good trio in the picture at the end with those two. And then obviously they had conversations with Jim Harbaugh for a couple of weeks. And they end up with Sean Payton, and whether it's, however you want to say it, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 1A, 1B, whatever. I think they're pretty happy to end up with Sean Payton.
One more, Parker, for me on a coach they didn't hire before we get into Payton. Harbaugh. What do we know? What did your reporting show in terms of how that unfolded and ultimately why he is still at Michigan?
Yeah, it's always a little curious when people say, like, well, no offer was made on the second meeting. Like, yeah, but they flew there for a reason. And I believe that the reason they went there is because Jim wanted to talk to them again and meet them in person. I mean, I think it was very much a two-way street. You know how it goes with coaches, especially. I mean, like, Jim Harbaugh's got a really good job. And at the end of the day, I think he decided he wanted to stay there, but I also think that it wasn't. I think it was a pretty close call. And then, exactly how close it got, I mean, hard to say without having been in the room. But, yeah, I mean, I think it was real. And that would have been very interesting, but it didn't go that way.
Parker Gabriel joining us, covering the Broncos for the Denver Post. How much do you think maybe some of the muted excitement was because the last offseason, Denver thought they had made the bold moves that was going to put them over the top, and of course it turned out not to work out very well with Russell Wilson? Could it be just a case of maybe being burned one too many times? It's like, all right, I'm gonna hang back on this. And it's also the fact that, oh, by the way, last year's big offseason acquisition is still around. He is still slated to be the quarterback next year, we think.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a little bit of all of that. I think also too, like, fans this time of year, it's all, there's mock drafts and there's this and that. And I think one of the things about whether you're talking about Harbaugh or DeMeco Ryans or really anyone else is then suddenly it starts to look like a pretty savvy deal that George Payton made at the beginning of November when he traded Bradley Chubb to Miami and got a first-round pick back. And it's number 29 because San Francisco literally didn't lose after that trade happened, and it's the rights to San Francisco's pick and all that. But even still, it's kind of like, well, you've got a first-round pick. You've got, like, more or less, they didn't have a second-round pick, but they had two at the very top of the third. So you've got, like, almost a full complement of draft picks, and you've got maybe a dynamic young coach or an established guy coming from college or whatever. It starts to feel like, and then with Payton, it's like it's a huge swing. It's expensive. It costs you a first-round pick. It's probably worth it. But, their first draft pick now is 68. So it just, like, it really pretty radically changed the complexion of their offseason. And it changed. I mean, I just think there's going to be a lot of changes. Like, I think that they've got not a ton of cap room. Sean Payton has very defined ideas about the types of players he likes and roles and all of that. And so, like, I just think it's kind of like you're basically, instead of turning it over to a young guy and saying, let's build it, I mean, you're turning this thing over to Sean Payton and saying, get us out of this, please. And it's just going to be fascinating to watch. And I think the excitement will come around. I really do. But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, Parker, and along those lines, I had a debate the other night with somebody because I think if you look at Russell Wilson's contract and you understand, like, you can't move on from him for X number of years. And I guess people will probably agree or disagree on how long that is. But if you kind of start at that basis, then you need a coach that can command the respect and that you hope can coach him up, develop him. Like, we're going to find out, I think, next year if Russell Wilson is shot. And if he is, then that will be a problem for, I guess, the future. But that's why look, I'm not the biggest Sean Payton fan in the world. I've said it a bunch of times last few weeks. You know, he's Mike McCarthy with better PR. But I do understand it just from the perspective of the Russell Wilson contract and trying to make that work to some degree.
Yeah, and look, I don't think that Russell Wilson is washed, as the kids say. He's clearly not the player he was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think the shoulder injury probably bothered him more than they let on over the course of the year. And he obviously, it's not just like he's got to be a little better. Like, he has to play a lot better. And so that all is understood. And the thing that I think is like, well, who could you find? And maybe you could make an argument for Harbaugh and whoever he would have brought as a coordinator or whatever, but like, who can you find who's better suited to at least getting more out of him than Sean Payton? And so that is, I think, to me, like, Russell Wilson, it's not all bad money. I think he can still be a good player, but essentially it feels a little bit like chasing bad money with good money and trying to turn it all into pretty good money. And if it doesn't work, then you got a real mess on your hands. Taking away another first-round pick, you're paying Sean Payton probably a lot of money for the foreseeable future, and then you're maybe thinking about having to blow up the roster and start over again. But if it does work, then suddenly, now the division's really good. Obviously, Kansas City's not going anywhere anytime soon. But like, if they would have averaged 19 points a game this last year, they would have won like 10 or 11 games. And so the offense doesn't have to be in the top 10 where Sean Payton's offenses, albeit with a Hall of Famer, were for most of his time in New Orleans. I mean, they just have to be decent, league average offensively, and they're going to be in the mix at least. And given where Denver's been the last 7 years, I mean, in the mix itself would represent a big improvement.
When it comes to actually building the roster, now I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but just checking on Spot Track right now, Denver's cap space is around $12 million, but they won't have first round or second round picks this year, thanks to the trade for Russell Wilson. So they won't be picking until pick 68 and 69.
Nice.
Of the third round. So when it comes to actually building the roster, and Sean Payton isn't brought here for a long-term overhaul. They want to get it up and running really quick. What kinds of obstacles stand in the way of Payton trying to get things off to a fast start?
Yeah, well, their cap situation isn't great, but they'll make some moves that they can actually clear quite a bit of cap space and do it pretty easily. I mean, and any of these guys they could restructure with, I'm just using the cut option as sort of like the example. But, Ronald Darby tore his ACL 6 weeks into the year, and they had a rookie corner, Damari Mathis, step in and play really well. And so Ronald Darby, Graham Glasgow, and Chase Edmonds, running back they traded for midseason. Like, those guys combined, if they cut those three guys, I mean, they could clear, I think it's between 30 and 35 million off their books. And all those guys were like, they had roles, but none of them are sort of like indispensable type players. And you could do the restructure and clear, 2/3 of that or something like that. And the thing is, like, Sean Payton has experience in this regard too, right? With an older, expensive quarterback where you're sort of like pushing money down the way and all of that. And this is where, like, it's not going to solve all your problems, but this is where having the richest owners in football, like, I think they're going to have, this is sort of like their end of the bargain to flex their muscles in this regard, where it's like, you got Garrett Bowles, the left tackle, he's coming off an injury, but if he turns base salary into a bonus, you can clear $8 million off your books. So, like, do you want to guarantee that guy's money all up front the year before? Maybe you could think about moving on. I mean, ideally, that might not be out of the like general manager school of general managing like manual, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So I think they've got plenty of moves they can make that don't like, make the cupboards bare in terms of where they're at roster wise and clear a lot of space and find some additions and all of that. But like, I think there's going to be a lot of that this offseason. I just think it's going to be a pretty big overhaul. And now that Sean Payton is in the building, like whether they say he's got final say on the 53 or if that's still George Payton or whatever, like he's obviously going to have a big say in sort of like who they look at and the kind of player they look at and all that.
Parker, one more from me. You mentioned earlier you don't think Wilson is washed. I wonder if you are concerned at all, or if the Broncos should be concerned about, like, I don't know, just him in general. Like, there were quite a few moments from this past season that kind of went viral, whether it was a stare from a teammate. Certainly there was that moment late in the year where there was some words being said on the field that the cameras caught. I mean, even the sandwich thing with Subway, like he is obviously a personality. I just wonder if that should be a concern at all for the Broncos, or if it's just he needs to improve as a player and then all that other stuff they can deal with it because he'd be a good football player again.
Yeah, I really think, and this is based on being in the locker room, 3 times a week or whatever, and talking to guys. Some of it's on the record and some of it's not, obviously, or whatever. But like,
yeah,
I really honestly believe that for the most part, he doesn't have a teammates problem. I mean, yeah, guys get frustrated because they were bad. Like they were really, and the thing about it is their defense, like Mike Purcell has been cut 15 times in his NFL career. And that's the best. I mean, that's Denver's had some good defenses over the years, and that's one of the best ones they've had in the last 2 decades. And you get guys that work their whole careers to be on units like that, and then the offense is so bad that you don't even sniff contention. Like, of course, that's frustrating. And of course, like Russell Wilson deserves his share of the blame for that 100%. But I don't, in terms of like overall respect, the fact that he goes viral and most of the time it's cringeworthy and all that. Like, I think most guys don't care that much about that. But I also believe strongly that like he underestimated what it was going to be like coming to Denver, leaving Seattle after a decade, everything that entails, not just being who he is, but being in a new place and all of that. And so like, I think it'll help to just be in Denver for an entire off season, even though they're going to go through the new coach thing again. And then it's really sort of like up to him to play better. Because if you play good in the NFL, not much else matters as long as you're not, running afoul of the law or whatever. So like, and even then sometimes, but that's not really too much of a concern with Russell Wilson. Like if he plays good, it's all going to be fine. The Subway thing is like his teammates will be making fun of him rather than not saying a word about it,
Yep.
If he's, accounting for 3 touchdowns a weekend or whatever. So, that's how I see it. Like, he's certainly a unique dude to cover. But I just think if you play good, that pretty much solves all your problems.
Parker Gabriel of the Denver Post. Parker, thanks a lot for the time. Never any shortage of things to talk about in Denver.
Yeah, that's right. Continue being unsportsmanlike. I so appreciate it.
We will
Thank
do
you,
that.
Parker.
Thanks,
Good to
Parker.
hear from you, man.
Parker.
Yeah,
Parker Gabriel joining us here on the program.
Fascinating, obviously. I can talk myself into this working, not to like winning the Super Bowl working, but like improving and it not being a disaster. We said it a lot in September. They were the funniest show on TV for a while. They were a laughing stock. And if they can just not be that, and get to the playoffs, that's why I don't hate this. But again, I am viewing this so much as there's this short term of Russell Wilson under the contract right now. And that's why I don't mind giving up a first-round pick. You know why? Because if this fails, this regime's going to fail, and they're going to have to figure out some stuff on the back end.
Yeah,
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, coming up, we've still got Kent's Movie Club, and we have an update on sports betting. Are you going to be able to bet on the Super Bowl in Nebraska?
Oh.
on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. We have some great weather in the forecast over the next few days. John's afraid of 50 degrees. Friends, I'm not afraid of 50 degrees. And I know many of you, if you have the glasses, you might have the prescription glasses as well. Or you don't have the prescription glasses because maybe a little too much dough for you. You don't want to have the regular sunglasses and go outside and it's a whole problem. Well, I don't have to worry about that anymore. So whether it is sunny and gorgeous, whether it is cloudy and not, or at night, I have the sunglasses, whether it's the $5 pair or even a nicer pair if you want to spend a little bit more money, because I don't wear regular glasses anymore. It is time to love your LASIK with the folks at Kugler Vision, because February is Love Your LASIK month. They are celebrating all month long with special LASIK savings just for you. And whether it's LASIK or one of their other 6 forms of FDA-approved modern vision correction, you'll be able to wear those sunglasses in style. Give them a call today at 402-558-2211 or visit their website, kuglervision.com.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows. The Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows are also presented by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more, by Barry Law, by Union Bank and Trust, and by DJ's Dugout. Before and after each Creighton game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
From basketball to volleyball, baseball to softball, soccer, tennis, and so much more, the Creighton sports season is packed with action. The 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law, covers it all. Each week, we visit with Blue Jay athletes and coaches to hear their stories and document their climb through the Big East Conference. The 1620 The Jays podcast drops each Friday morning and is found at 1620thezone.com and all major podcast platforms. Just search 1620 The Jays. Covering all things Creighton Blue Jays, it's the 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law from 1620 The Zone.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel, évidemment. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Friends, I have great news.
Great news.
We have been waiting such a long time to be able to tell you that in our fair state, a.k.a. the Cornhusker State, a.k.a. the Good Life, gambling is legal here. Gambling is legal in Bushwood. Sports
Congratulations.
betting is legal in Nebraska. I can't believe we allowed this day to pass on Wednesday without mentioning it, as much as we have been on the forefront. We, the program,
Hell
who
yeah.
discovered the loophole
You did it.
that allowed for sports betting when we voted it in 823 days ago.
It's been 823 days.
823 days
Like
since we
that
voted
from the
it in.
Titanic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, since
But
the
sports
2020
betting
election.
is now legal in Nebraska.
Wow.
But
is it in Deschler?
No.
Damn it.
The problem is that,
Everything.
Well, there's many problems, but
Yeah. They didn't ask us was the first problem.
of course,
we could have helped you
Of course,
out.
the first problem is that all casinos and sports books have to be tied to a horse track, of which there are only a handful.
That is just
And only 2 of them right now actually have a casino up and running,
trigger.
Lincoln and Grand Island, and neither of them have a sports book ready to go.
So we have sports gambling, but we don't.
Right.
Cool.
And
Very
remember,
cool,
friends,
John.
this is only casino and sports betting is only in the casino, in the brick and mortar store.
We can't have
There
our
is
apps.
No apps allowed. There,
John, how fun would it be?
Our
Say 21
one
plus
in
present in Nebraska.
We can't say
Iowa.
that. We can say it about Iowa.
Ah.
Can't say it here because they don't allow the betting apps here.
Dumb
That-
state.
I know.
Dumb state.
I had someone reach out to me and said, we need sports talk radio to, to lead the charge and get people to do the petition drive so we can get, the mobile betting on the ballot. And, there's probably some truth to that.
Let's do it. I'm down. Let's sign the pieces of paper.
There's a lot of things that should be on the ballot.
Well, I mean, we have to.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of
my dream. Dumb debates questions are on the ballot.
It's a kind of a tedious process. to
Oh,
get
I
the
know. They're
ballot.
like, the signatures came from Omaha. Throw it out.
Well,
They
no,
don't
it's
like our signatures.
It's just getting
Our signatures aren't good enough for
Making
'em.
sure that everything is up on the up and up so that they don't throw them out. That's. And then you got to sit outside all these buildings and get permission to get signatures.
I've signed some of those things before. I'm like, here's my signature.
I'm trying to remember the last petition I signed.
You don't like participating in local
No, it's just that I
issues.
Especially some of the local
Apparently,
issues,
I
recent local issues.
support local.
Apparently, I don't go to
So
enough
when
places
you see
that
a
have
guy who's
petitions.
like, hey, we want to make marijuana legal, you're not like, I would love to sign.
No, I actually kick the legs out of the table and
Oh.
say, you take that mess and get out of here, you hippie.
What if it's like, all right, you can have mobile sports betting, but also
also
it's tied to this.
marijuana.
It's tied. It has to be tied.
The marijuana and sports
so you
apps.
have to bet mobily on sports while you're high?
No, they're
Bingo.
just tied together.
That's called a Friday night, John.
In Iowa.
In
Friday
Iowa.
night.
Sadly,
In Iowa.
Just in Iowa. So it's
No,
not
I just-
legal.
it's like I just can't remember the last time I actually came across a
basically
petition.
legal.
This is so dumb.
I know.
It's so dumb.
It's like you get a car, right? And then there's the base model, then there's all those fun features.
But they're like, there's no engine.
Right. Or
Call
there's
that
no
Formula
air
One.
there's no air conditioning.
oh, I'm fixing that this year. Did I tell? Oh, you were gone.
There's no automatic
John,
lights.
we're fixing the AC before the summer this year.
The AC boy.
I'm not driving to the College World Series in 100-degree heat. Not
Put down
cool.
your windows.
I just want you to know that you can't use the quarter jar for that.
I can't.
No.
But there's like $3 in there.
No, you can't do that.
A couple messages real fast before we talk to Kent. Alex texts in. I think you might know who this Alex is. When John and I call a Creighton baseball game, we can both be shirtless. Thoughts?
Baseball.
You've lost some weight. That'd be great.
Yeah, no.
You guys could take some photos together.
No, I don't think people do not want to see
You
me
could do that
shirtless.
song from Top Gun. Playing with the
Yeah, you can do that
boys.
weird double football game. Remember the double football game? That
That
was so
was
weird.
weird.
Yeah, what is double football? And then Aaron writes in, I mentioned Phyllis in Deschler.
Yeah.
And how about this? You ask anyone about Phyllis and Deschler, they know Phyllis as the photographer who was definitely an old. When she took your picture, she would always say 1, 2, 3, smile in the old lady voice. You can imagine 1, 2, 3, smile. She also famously drove her car into a pond. True story. Aaron and Papillion, originally from Deschler. What an email. So I pulled that name out of thin air, and she's a real person.
Did Phyllis have one of those cameras where people had to stand still for 5 minutes and then hold up the powder?
I always love the noise
with
the old timey
kind of the poof.
Yeah, the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a fun noise.
Those are good cameras for the light bulb industry.
Oh yeah. Light
Well-
bulb industry probably hates digital cameras.
Abraham Zapruder did not have one of those kinds of cameras.
Nice.
He had a more modern camera than that camera
in '63,
but not a modern camera in terms of our modern camera.
Mm-hmm.
And that is part of the movie Parkland, which is this week's movie club selection. Mr. Wolgamont is already in the green room.
Nice.
He's already here.
He's already
He loves
here.
our green room the best because he says it reminds him of his living room.
Nice.
Nice.
Got snacks in there.
I don't know if he has snacks in there.
He's got books. I know.
He has a cat in there. We see the cat every once in a while. Yeah,
that's
We're
true.
going to talk
Bring back the
Parkland. Coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Time-Saving Traffic Center. Looks like there's no major wrecks to slow you down this afternoon. We are getting reports, though, some delays if you're north on 144th between 370 and I-80. If you're east on L Street, delays between 36th and 24th. If you're east on Pacific, delays between 90th and 84th. And a little bit of a delay if you're west on Dodge between 680 and 120th. I'm Mike Neville. This Time-Saving Traffic is brought to you by Fernando's Omaha.
Thank you, Omaha. It's triple first place wins for Fernando's. Fernando's is honored and grateful to you for voting them the best Mexican restaurant in the Best of Omaha and Omaha Choice Awards and Best Margarita in the Omaha Choice Awards. Fernando's, family owned and community served.
Do you like to shoot fireworks? Would you like to get paid to shoot fireworks? J&M Displays wants you. Help shoot an Omaha Storm Chasers game, Memorial Park display, or any of the major shows in Western Iowa and all of Nebraska. If you like to travel, J&M covers Nebraska, Kansas, and most of Missouri. They offer free training and great daily pay rates, which makes it a perfect part-time job. Visit jnmdisplays.com and click the Join Our Team tab to find out more. J&M Fireworks.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on. If we can be of help to you, give us a call.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nebraska or Iowa attorneys. 13340 California Street, Suite 200, Omaha, Nebraska, 68154.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Give your business a whole host of options with Host Coffee. The most impressive selection of office coffee, water options, healthy food options, and vending technologies. Host Coffee, serving you since '72. Be a part of the Host Coffee team today. If you'd like to work for a trusted and loyal family-owned company that understands the needs of working families, Host Coffee has your opportunity. Apply at hostcoffee.net.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no per ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Friday, the final day of the week. These are the voyages of the program Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Its ongoing mission to explore strange new movies, to seek out new bits and new edifications, to boldly go where no radio program has gone before.
Oh, Kent's Movie Club. It's El Kent's Movie Club. El Kent's Movie Club. It's El Kent's Movie Club.
My favorite times of the week. A, it's Friday. B, it's movie club time.
Yeah.
With our friend Kent Wogelman on the Lincoln Journal Star. Hello, Kent.
Hello.
Oh, look, he's frozen.
Oh,
His
no.
video, we can't hear him.
Oh, no.
But at least, Kent, you're happy. I'm happy to tell you, you're frozen with a smile on your face.
That's true. Oh, no. Now I think he's just frozen.
And now I think it's just frozen,
Yep,
period.
Over on Nick's computers, he's gone.
Yeah, there's just a black screen on.
No,
Wow.
this is a second week in a row. We've
Let's
had
see.
such good luck with this.
Yep. Wow. We had a great streak. Now the internet's gone the way of his phone.
I was just about to say the same
Man,
thing.
it's been a rough
Did
go.
we blame Jack? The internet started
Yeah,
to go right
you know
after
what,
Jack.
Nick? Good call. Ever since Jack showed up, he just has ruined everything.
My Colin Kent.
I don't know.
Well,
My guess is he's hopping out and he'll be back in. We can kind of set up the movie.
Well, but here's the thing: it still shows that he's in the green room. I'm wondering if
there
this
he
is.
goes.
I'm wondering if this is our internet.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Though our stream is working. I mean, we're able to stream you, me,
Everything
and
else usually works.
Yeah.
just
well.
fine.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Except that one time, was it yesterday, where Josh was just kind of frozen
Yep.
for like a
That
minute?
was the internet. That was our internet's problem.
That was
because
our
the
See,
same
but
thing happened
that's
to
why I'm
John.
wondering. I'm wondering if maybe our internet's got a little
Wouldn't
something
surprise
to do
me.
with this.
That wouldn't surprise me. Well, we hope that Kent resumes and joins us.
All right,
Rejoins
well,
us. Rejoin.
Oh,
Rejoins us very, very shortly. Do you want to talk about what Parkland is?
Good reply.
Before nice.
Yeah,
Before Kent joins us.
This week's movie is Parkland,
Mhm.
which is streaming on Amazon Prime. This was made 10 years ago.
I do not remember this movie.
I haven't
at
heard anything.
all.
I thought we
You think we reviewed it
this
on the
with
show?
Ken. I thought we did.
Okay.
Now, I've been known to be wrong before, but I think we're gonna have to call Ken.
Yep.
Yeah, I think his internet is
Well, that's a bummer.
has pooped out this week. But anyway, Parkland was it for those of you who know your history. And by the way, this is the 60th anniversary year of the JFK assassination.
Wow.
This is the 60th anniversary year of the JFK assassination. So this movie came out in the 50th anniversary year, 2013. And Parkland is the name of the hospital where Kennedy was taken. And actually where his assassin.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no
was
idea that
also
that was
taken
where
to
Lee
Parkland.
Harvey was taken.
And there was a scene in the movie. There is a scene in the movie where they actually discuss it. Oh, hey, Kent might be popping in here. Hang on. Well, it's acting. See, I'm beginning to wonder if it's our internet.
There we go.
All right, let's try this again. Oops.
No, we both did it at the same
Kent,
time.
can you hear us?
I can.
Yay!
All right, good.
We did it.
Awesome.
All right, so John was just finishing kind of setting up the movie.
Yeah, Parkland, again, the name of the hospital, and it's basically a movie shot in the periphery. It's about the doctors in the ER. It's about the nurse who was in the ER.
Secret Service
It's about
agents
the
taking
Secret
him there.
Service agent
In the
lead
ER.
Secret Service agent. You have the
ZipRecruiter.
FBI agents who had previously had encounters with Lee Harvey Oswald. Abraham ZipRecruiter, the man behind the famous ZipRecruiter film, which is the one best depiction, if you will, best, I'm using air quotes, of the assassination itself. And it's basically the story of all of these people.
The Oswalds, yes.
And the Oswalds, all surrounding the assassination. And that is the movie from 10 years ago. So Kent, this, as we mentioned before you popped on, this is the 60-year anniversary year of the assassination. Do you recall? I thought you reviewed this for us 10 years ago, but I don't remember. Do you remember when you saw it again?
Yeah, I believe I did. And one of the reasons for that is this movie was made by the American Film Company, which happens to have been founded by Joe Ricketts. And they made this. They made a movie called The Conspirator about the Civil War, about the woman that was part of the John Wilkes Booth assassination of Lincoln. That was directed by Robert Redford, and then they made this, and they may have made a couple others. And it was founded to do real life fact-based history pictures. And they may not made too many movies because there isn't a lot of box office for real life fact-based history pictures. And but they did make this, and that's part of the reason that I remember doing it, is because of that connection.
For a movie like this, coming from a group, and by the way, the box office, at least according to Wikipedia, was only $1.6 million. It had a budget of $10 million. But look, I mean, you've got Zac Efron here in this movie, David Harbour, who is probably famous right now for Stranger Things, Billy Bob Thornton,
Colin Hanks,
Marcia Gay Harden, Jackie Earle Haley, all in this movie, and
among others,
Paul Giamatti.
How about Jeremy Strong, Ken? I don't know if you watched Succession, but Jeremy Strong showing up as Lee Harvey, I was like, holy crap. He's like one of the better actors on HBO TV today.
Yeah, but remember, this is all 10 years ago. So some of those that you mentioned were not big names at that point. And the other thing about budget-wise on this, remember that this is so episodic that nobody's really on it for more than 10, 15 minutes total out of the 90-minute running time. So you're not paying a major star to carry a movie, and be in every scene. So that's part of it,
It's true, because you literally, it's not like, you see a little bit of ZipRecruiter's story and it pops back and forth to that. You see a bit of the operating room stuff pops back and forth.
Yeah.
And so you're right that even though you do have a lot of actors in this, it's not like, there's the one main character that's through it the whole way through. The main character is the assassination itself.
Yeah, Kent, on Wikipedia, it has like just that reception area of like how a movie was reviewed, and it says Rotten Tomatoes 50% rating. The consensus was, although its decision to look at John F. Kennedy's assassination through uncommon perspectives is refreshing, Parkland never achieves the narrative cohesion its subject deserves. As I watched this movie, to me, and I guess let me look at the release date. The release date was September, and then at a film festival in October. So that fits in with what I thought. It feels very like Oscar, like it was hoping to be an Oscar bait type of movie, right? Let's look at the assassination from an entirely different perspective. And in a way, I wonder, I mean, it doesn't achieve that level of movie. The runtime is also very short. And yeah, it does kind of, like, it bounces around. I know that the middle portion, or the thing that brings everything together, is JFK. But I don't know. It's kind of like in these types of movies, there is something that brings it together stronger than that. I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of explaining it, but I guess I kind of thought it was a bit all over the place.
Well, there's no strong narrative thread through it, right? Because there are so many. You're looking here, you're looking there, you're looking here, you're looking there. There's nothing that really ties all of those together, right? Other than it's all what's surrounding the assassination. So for what it is, it works, right? I mean, it does give you these glimpses into this, but it doesn't have the unified narrative enough to pull it along as a movie to be more than just here are these looks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you know what? And this is an odd criticism, but I wonder if because we know the story so well, I mean, this would have really been served better, I think, in a documentary, right? Where you can get a little bit more into the hospital and what happened in that, and suddenly Lyndon Johnson is going to be president, and that, and Jackie, and what she is going through. And so, in a way, like the short runtime, I don't know, it kind of, for me, I think it negatively affected it, and just that I know, like, you know, we know the main event of this as well as we know any event in American history,
or a mini series. You could see this as like a HBO or one of those kind of mini series where you could take each one of these segments
and allow it to breathe a bit more
and give it more and tie them together. Then, right?
Yeah.
And so you can have, just take an example from the movie where you have when they bring him into the hospital, into Parkland with, you know, Marcia Gay Harden's the nurse and Zac Efron and those people. Well, you also have the FBI agents, or I'm sorry, the Secret Service agents standing outside and in and out and whatever. So for one, you would say, do the hospital, and then you transfer the next episode to the Secret Service guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next episode, maybe the FBI, and then the Oswalds, and, you know, and you might even be able to cut them together, but you cut them together at 10 or 15 minutes an hour, right? And you do it for 3 or 4 hours, and then you're able to tell the story a little more, with a little more depth and cohesion than the way this is. But, you know, I didn't think this was terrible by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a decent movie, and it provides a view. The thing that I guess is that I thought about when I saw this time was everybody during that time had their own point of view of this. Okay. I was a little bitty kid. I was in grade school, and I think maybe first grade, whatever grade, it was parent-teacher conference. And so I was home, and I remember seeing it on TV and getting my toy gun and going out to the edge of the street because I was going to get that guy that killed the president. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's how a 6-year-old in a little town reacted to it, right?
Right.
Everybody had and this shows some of that, which is, I think, an interesting way to do it, particularly because these were the people that were, intimately involved with it. To me, I thought the most sort of interesting and compelling part of it was ZipRecruiter.
Definitely. Couldn't agree more.
I hadn't even thought, before I saw it, I hadn't even thought, well, what did it, how did he do this? What was it impact on him? And I think Giamatti was quite good at that.
Yeah, even just his visceral reaction as he sees it, where he's just like, oh my gosh, and he's putting the camera down. And I had never thought of the moments after that for him. What happens when he stops recording? I never thought of that until I watched the movie, and I was like, that just had to be.
Well, and that was the other part of it too, was because he had the film, he knew what he had seen.
Yep.
In fact, he actually, and this wasn't depicted in the movie, but the first place they tried to take the film to be developed was a television station, WFAA in Dallas. But because his camera was so new, they didn't have the proper development stuff. So they had to actually go somewhere else. But while ZipRecruiter was at WFAA, he did an on-air television interview with the guy who was anchoring their coverage. And I watched that interview today.
Oh, really?
Where he's sitting there, doing the interview and describing in detail what he had seen. And they were hoping they were going to get the film developed. Obviously, they didn't for the TV station. But the whole transfer of the movie, they get the film developed. They make 3 copies. ZipRecruiter gets one and the original. The Secret Service gets one. I think the FBI gets one. I can't imagine, Kent, today, if something similar to happen. I realize we don't develop film anymore, but you would think nowadays it would be like Secret Service comes in, they are taking that camera, and you're not getting anything. It's like out.
I think that's right. I would think that is absolutely correct.
But,
there's so much stuff in there that is so different than what would have happened today,
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have ever been down there to Dallas and looked at that area.
Yes.
It's not that big an area, number
No.
one.
No.
And then if you go where the movie theater where they captured Oswald, which they don't show in the movie but refer to, it isn't all that far away. It really isn't from the and so, if it just it was just so interesting to me to go there and see it like that. Then you look at a movie like this, and here's another thing that this movie did do that it plays into part of all the conspiracy theories that have gone on for the last 60 years is the FBI agent at the end destroying his file. That has really played into the whole conspiracy thing since then. And then this has zero to do with what we're talking about, but I had a very different reaction to the movie in a different way watching it. I'm sitting there watching it going, I have actually met in real life two of the people that are played in the movie. Jackie Kennedy, who I met when I worked in DC and had the office. My office was directly across the hall from Ted Kennedy, Senator's office.
When you were working for Ed Zorinsky.
When I was working for Ed, and all the Kennedys came up for some reason or another, and she was there, and I was introduced to her by Ted's receptionist, who was my friend. And then I've met the little baby Oswald, the little tiny baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Her name is Rachel, and she did live, I don't know that she still does, but she lived in Austin for years. And when I met her, she was a waitress at the Texas Chili Parlor. But I think she subsequently became a nurse. I don't know if she's still in Austin or not. But of course, she never knew her dad. She was just a little baby when he got killed. So, but yeah, so I've met those two, and then weirdly, I've gotten to know a little bit of Billy Bob because of his musical career.
Yeah.
And then the preacher at the end at the funeral. That's Jimmy Dale Gilmore, who is a singer-songwriter country guy from Texas who I've known forever. So it's like, this is weird. I know two of the actors and I've met two of the.
Well, Kent, you mentioned it, the area, the Dealey Plaza where the assassination took place. And I remember, Gary Sharp and I were there 20-ish years ago for a Big 12 media days.
At the Quarter Jar.
And it's weird because Dallas, of course, at that time, you didn't have as many of the skyscrapers and the.
You talking about 63?
Yeah. And then it almost stands out like a diorama. You're driving by, and then all of a sudden, pop, there it is, and you see the red brick building of the school book depository. You see the underpass. You see the slope of the hill. And it's like, it's like you are instantly transported back into time to that moment because the whole area has been fairly well preserved. I mean, it's not like,
there's an exit marks the spot in the street.
And the sixth floor museum, which they've taken the whole sixth floor of that depository and turned it into a museum, is one of the best museums I've ever been to. And I can only imagine how much better it's gotten in 20 years. But it is you talk. I mean, I've been to Washington, D.C. I've been to other places where history has happened. but I've never been to a place where I felt like I was instantly transported back into time more than when I was in Dealey Plaza.
And that, I think, is what they were trying to do with the movie.
Yes.
And succeed to some degree. You know, I don't think it's 100% successful, but I think it does succeed because it also shows how people lived then.
Yep.
You know, I mean, everybody's smoking all over the place, you know.
Yeah, the doctor at the beginning, Efron's puffing on a cigarette before, you know, he
doctor
got into the room. Yeah, just wild.
The ZipRecruiter film itself, obviously it was known that it was out there, but it didn't get seen publicly for another decade.
Was it in 73?
I believe it was a late night show hosted by Geraldo Rivera, wasn't it, Kent? That where it first got shown on TV, on network TV, and even then it was. I mean, from then
They showed that on TV.
Yes, they did.
Wow,
and it was
But
very.
that was they did Life did publish some of the stills from it, but they didn't show the movie ever, right?
Yeah. But just the existence of it, and really it's a fascinating read about how, you know, where that movie went to and how it was used and how many times it was copied, and there's a whole other story about that. But it was, you know, we think of today, you know, during sporting events or concerts, 90% of the audience is holding up a phone. Here, I mean, it was more of a chore.
Yeah,
you had to have a camera, and there were only a couple of people in that area that had those types of cameras, and he happened to be the one to be in the perfect spot at the perfect place at the perfect time.
Yeah, I saw a number. I'm trying to find it again. Here it is. ZipRecruiter was one of at least 32 people in Dealey Plaza known to have made film or still photographs at or around the time of the shooting. So think about that. 32. That is such a small number compared to
today.
I mean, yeah, there's probably 32 people taking a picture right now, you know, just outside of us.
And not only that, it was 32 using, you know, brownie cameras and stuff. We're not talking about serious film equipment, which is why his film was so good, is because he was using a brand new state-of-the-art kind of camera.
Yeah. Kent, what's your interest level, I guess, in subsequent years in reading about the assassination or even like fictionalized account? I know that you've read some Stephen King books. I don't know if you've ever read 11/22/63. That was actually the first book by him that I read. And I have always been, you know, fascinated by it. I think like a lot of Americans have been fascinated by it. How, given that you were a kid when it happened, how has it been for you in the 60 years since?
Okay.
I put it on a T for you.
Yeah, you did. Once again, when I was in Washington, I met an attorney named Bud Finsterwald. I don't even remember what his real first name was. And the reason that I met him is that he was a defense attorney for some of the Watergate guys. And the office manager of Zorinsky's office had been on the Senate Watergate committee. So she knew all of those. Well, before he did that, Finsterwald was a assassination investigator, essentially. And so I heard every conspiracy theory and everything like that from him. And, you know, and he was at the point of, I don't know what exactly to believe. And so I've been kind of interested in it, but I'm also got to the point where it was like, you're never going to find out exactly what happened, right? But it was clear that there was some interest in getting this thing pushed out, you know, put to bed, and this is what happened, or we're going to move on the part of the government. And so I think that kind of, what do you want to say, made it impossible for the absolute true facts of that to all come out. But as far as beyond that, I could get up and go get this. I have a little bank, you know, like a piggy bank type thing of John Kennedy that I got the next year that has his name John, it's a bust of him and John Kennedy, and then his birth date in 1963. And I think I got that the next year, and that's still sitting over here. So
crazy,
so there's a lot of Kennedy history that ties in. My mother is a huge Kennedy fan, and working across the hall from Ted and getting to know them and all of that. So I've really been interested in the Kennedys in particular, and the assassination to some measure.
Yeah, and to me, I'm sure when I was younger, I was all about, finding out about all the different conspiracies and stuff.
Theories,
but today, I like to look at it from how it was covered. I look at it from a media perspective, and there's a lot of video and stuff.
Well, I heard some of the audio that was played in the movie. I had never heard like those news clips before.
Right, and those were actual news clips.
Yeah. That was interesting for me to hear those.
But to me, to watch a lot of the different Dallas TV stations and how they covered it, and of course, we all have seen Walter Cronkite, but also NBC and ABC, and how everyone and radio and how the information came out. And there's Kent. Let me get the zoom here on this one. Yeah.
And so, what is that, Kent?
That's a piggy bank.
It's like a piggy bank thing that I bought like the next year. You can see the and the slot in the back.
Oh wow!
There it is.
That's 60 years old too. Wow. Yeah, so that's made a lot of moves with you then over the years.
Yes, it has.
To survive this long, that's awesome.
Yeah. But that is Parkland. And again, is it a great movie? No, but it is, especially if you're fascinated in this piece of history, it is a rather different. I saw a review somewhere that said, it wasn't, obviously not every historically based movie is 100% accurate, but for the most part, they got a lot of the different details right about the efforts to try to save him.
Yeah, and one more thing, what I found definitely notable and I think good was the balance of these people having to do their jobs, and then like when they're finally in the hearse going to the airport in the plane, and how finally the emotion hits everybody. It had already hit Jackie obviously a bunch, but that I thought that like these people have to do their job. And they have to he's not the president anymore. Lyndon Johnson is the president. Like that mindset that you have to have in those situations. But finally, when they get on the hearse and they're driving and one guy breaks down and they're all just like, it's 1,000-yard stare. I thought that was really good because, again, I guess I've never really thought about this moment in history as what happened in the 5 minutes after.
Yeah, it was such I like the perspective of it because I have always grown up, knowing about Kennedy. Then I even in an AP history class, we dug a bit into the conspiracies and what happened that day itself.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first time I'd realized, I guess they did go right to the hospital after this, huh?
Yeah, same, Nick.
You always remember the car sped away. You're just like, all right, car sped away.
Yep.
Like, oh, they just went right to the hospital. Then, here's between here. And then when they got onto the plane, a couple of years ago, I took my dad over to Ashland, the Air and Space Museum. And at the time they had a plane similar to what Air Force One was there, and they even had it set up to where part of the wall was cut out where the casket would have been, and it was cool seeing them actually do that in the movie.
Yeah,
because I didn't know that was even a thing until Dad and I went to the museum.
Yeah, and because they insisted they weren't going to treat the president like a piece of cargo and put him in the cargo hold. They were going to put him on the plane.
Yeah,
with Jackie.
The other thing that I'd forgotten but it hit was Kennedy went to Parkland, and then when Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald, he ended up in Parkland. But what the movie didn't show, saw this yet, is they put him in a different room because they didn't want him to be in the same room as the president.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And it's depicted in the movie where Marcia Gay Harden's character says, no, he's not going in this room.
He's not going to live or die in this room. Take him to the next one.
Mm-hmm. And it showed how those medical people have to, and they still have to do stuff like that now. Imagine being the people that, here bring in, whoever, somebody that's shot, famous type person or going to be and you're dealing with this as a physician and as a emergency room. And then when it's over, it's like, You know, like the Lincoln police officer that got shot here and killed, a couple years ago.
Yep.
Well, you know, I was sat outside Lincoln General, whatever it's called, Brian West, and watched the doctors and whatever go in and out of the emergency room and all of that. And, you know, they're doing their job and and he didn't die in the emergency room, but that has to be devastating to those people after, like what Josh was saying, once it sets in, you know?
Yep.
By the way, I read this when reading about Abraham Zapruder. He passed away of cancer in 1970 at Parkland Hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What a place.
And some people were saying, well, yeah, if they all live in Dallas, but remember, it's a big city. There's many hospitals, but Parkland was like, it's like this centerpiece of history that is there. I mean, you know, most people in America, they probably know the name of the hospital in their town. And if you say the name Parkland Hospital, they know exactly what you're talking about and where it is. So Parkland, the movie, it's on Amazon Prime if you want to check it out. Unique piece of history. All right, Nick.
So this is a movie I heard about very, very recently. And I thought about it because it was between this movie or another one that I've been wanting to put on Movie Club. But in the end, this one won out. We're going to Netflix.
Oh.
It's called The Pez Outlaw. It's also a movie based off of a historical thing that happened.
The Pez Outlaw?
Yeah,
Pez Outlaw.
The Pez, like the candy.
With a Z?
Yep. I recently heard about it in a podcast, Josh, that I was listening to on normal speed, and they said it's good. The reviews look good.
Okay.
It's based off of a historical
I thought you said
thing
this was I thought you said you were going to do something based on a fish.
We're not doing the lobster.
I was faking you guys out.
You kind of like John, how he faked us out last week.
Right.
All right.
The Pez Outlaw.
The Pez Outlaw on Netflix.
Okay.
All right. Ken, have you seen the Pez Outlaw before?
Nope. Never heard of
Alrighty.
it until this moment.
The reviews are strong, so it shouldn't
Okay.
be bad.
Is it new? It must be new then.
2022, I think.
Oh, okay. So last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Pez Outlaw.
All right.
We'll do that next week.
Tweeted it out the link.
Kent, have a great weekend. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
Sounds good. See you
Bye,
next week.
Kent.
There he is, Kent Wogelmont of the Lincoln Journal-Star. I knew we were going to get this comment.
Oh, Matt, come on.
That's a tough hang.
I mean, there was a slot, so you could say that was a hole.
Right.
Michael says Pez Outlaw is solid.
Nice.
Okay.
There you
I
go.
got the Michael seal of approval.
Not severe.
Oh.
Different Michael.
I got
This is the
the
Eagles
different
fan.
Michael.
Can we
Oh.
trust this guy?
Well, sure.
Do you
What's
trust
wrong
your
with an
girlfriend?
Eagles fan?
Mostly.
No.
If we're talking about the Eagles. I told her last night, I said, because she goes, I've been right about a lot of things lately. I said, why couldn't have you been right about the Chargers and Justin Herbert being good? Why is it that Sirianni is good too? Meanwhile, you didn't hear it. You weren't here. My hot take market, Herbert's going to win the MVP because he's got Kellen Moore as his offensive coordinator. John, he's good in the regular season.
Yeah, sure. He's great.
It's just about numbers and narratives. I don't say he's going to win the Super Bowl. I just say he's going to win MVP. Put it on the list. Get the eggs.
Get the eggs.
Get the eggs.
Put it on the list. All right. We're coming back with more of Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Your Friday evening forecast will include partly cloudy skies with temperatures dipping into the lower 20s around daybreak Saturday. By the afternoon, a few clouds with temperatures warming into the upper 40s. In Omaha, I'm tracking a high temperature of 49 degrees. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the time-saving traffic center, as far as wrecks go, it looks like you should have some smooth sailing out there. We are seeing reports, though, of delays on eastbound L Street between 36th and 24th, delays on eastbound Pacific between 90th and 84th, delays on northbound 144th between Highway 370 and I-80. If you're south on 84th, delays between I-80 and L Street. And then if you're west on Dodge, you can see some slow going between 680 and 120th. I'm Mike Neville.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
The Nebraska Lottery has raised over $908 million, which has helped to provide more than 117,000 college scholarships, save wildlife habitats across the state, and fund new facilities at the Nebraska State Fair. The Nebraska Lottery, helping to build a better Nebraska.
Creighton Sports Update.
Creighton men's and women's basketball are both back at home this Saturday as the women host St. John's at DJ Sokol Arena at 1 p.m. and the men host Villanova at CHI Health Center at 6:30 p.m. Limited tickets are still available online at gocreighton.com/tickets. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Hey, it's Nick Hanley for Woodhouse Mazda. Now is the time to check out one of the latest additions of the Mazda SUV lineup, the Mazda CX-50. This vehicle was made for outdoor adventures. Equipped with Mazda Intelligent Drive Select technology, traction and responsiveness are optimized with the different modes across a variety of driving scenarios and road conditions. You will love the overall comfort as well. Visit Woodhouse Mazda in Bellevue or at Woodhouse Place Mazda in Millard, Omaha Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers, and schedule a test drive today. Woodhouse Mazda, a drive worth experiencing.
From basketball to volleyball, baseball to softball, soccer, tennis, and so much more, the Creighton sports season is packed with action. The 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law, covers it all. Each week, we visit with Blue Jay athletes and coaches to hear their stories and document their climb through the Big East Conference. The 1620 The Jays podcast drops each Friday morning and is found at 1620thezone.com and all major podcast platforms. Just search 1620 The Jays. Covering all things Creighton Blue Jays, it's the 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law from 1620 The Zone.
Chris, this needs to go to Parkville by 3.
Joy to the holiday packages that keep coming at Jimenez Couriers.
It's coming your way, but the drop-off location is changing.
She needs delivery drivers with the gift of punctuality.
Anyone looking to pick up some overtime? Anyone?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Stories Coffee Company is now open in Midtown Crossing and Gretna. Stories Coffee Company serves premium roasted coffee along with a full menu of teas, smoothies, breakfast, lunch, wine, local beer, and heavy appetizers. Stories Coffee Company. People love coffee.
Chris, this needs to go to Parkville by 3.
Joy to the holiday packages that keep coming at Jimenez Couriers.
It's coming your way, but the drop-off location is changing.
She needs delivery drivers with the gift of punctuality.
Anyone looking to pick up some overtime? Anyone?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's this week's Maverick Minute. Omaha Maverick hockey improves to 14-10-2 after securing a weekend split with the number 9 Western Michigan Broncos last Saturday with a 2-0 shutout victory. Omaha hockey is idle this coming weekend before welcoming the Colorado College Tigers to Baxter Arena next weekend for a 2-game series. And that's your Maverick Minute on your home for the Mavs. News Talk 1290, 1180 The Zone, and 1620 The Zone.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. It's unsportsmanlike conduct.
I don't care if you're a man or a woman.
The 1620 The Zone.
You know, when I was getting ready to leave Washington, we were loading up the plane, coming back from Creighton's game at Georgetown. That's when I saw all the stories popping out about the Orange Crush Spirit Group in Iowa and the fact that Iowa rejected their tickets. And it was this big back and forth. Oh, this is a student group that does great work with charity, and we've lost all of our budget and blah, 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 blah. You nasty people from Iowa.
Are you going to defend Iowa?
Well,
please.
Now, wait a minute. They came in under false pretense. They came in under false pretense and tried to, in fact, Gary Barta was asked about it today, the athletic director in Iowa. His quote was, "We thought that the Boys and Girls Club were coming, so we contacted them. They had no idea what we were talking about. A Boys and Girls Club somewhere in Illinois, Rockford, I think. They didn't know what we were talking about. So then our staff contacted the ticket office over in Illinois. They're not affiliated with the group. So they contacted the person who purchased the tickets. And that person acknowledged that he falsely indicated that it was related to the Boys and Girls Club.
so we canceled those tickets. We've now offered those up to the Cedar Rapids Boys and Girls Club.
They bought the tickets, right? They had paid for them, or had they gotten them at a great deal because it was supposedly the Boys and Girls Club?
I'm guessing they got a deal because it was. I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, I've not read anything
is,
about this story. I've seen a few tweets, but I've not read anything.
So the Orange Crush group, and by the way,
who is this?
This is a student group that takes one trip a year, and did
they come to a Nebraska game?
They came to a Nebraska game
in Doc Sadler's last year
in 2013 over at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Wait, 13? Are you sure
or
it wasn't 12?
Or 12? I'm sorry.
Okay, because I called this game
over at Devaney Center.
I called this game with Jake Sorensen.
So you would.
They were to our left.
There was this huge pack of people,
and
dressed
suddenly
in
they
red.
took off
They
their.
were dressed in red, and the first 4 minutes of the game before the media timeout,
They were pretending to cheer for Nebraska.
They were pretending to cheer for Nebraska, and then right in the middle of the media timeout,
They took off their.
Because I was sitting down the way from them. And I don't remember if they did some kind of a countdown, but there was a ruckus going on. And all of a sudden, they all, like in unison,
took it off.
They all took off. They shed the red shirts and exposed the orange.
Mhm.
And they spent the rest of the time just hooping it up for the orange. But
Even though Nebraska ran them off the floor, they killed them that day. It was a total surprise. If it's the game I'm thinking of, Jake and I couldn't believe it. Let me look it up.
I think Illinois won the game that day, but I could be right. Anyway,
Nebraska won. The one that I saw and that happened at, Nebraska won the game. And we couldn't believe it.
But that's what they do. They take a road trip every year, and they make a big deal out of it. It's
80 to 57.
It's not often that a student section goes and invades another.
So why does this trigger people?
Well, they're mad at Iowa for.
No, but you seem triggered by the Illinois fans.
No, I'm not triggered by them.
You seemed upset by it.
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
I love the fact that they did.
I think it's hilarious.
When they did it at Nebraska, I was laughing my butt off. I was
it's
tip my
super
cap
funny.
to you. It's like, good on you. You fooled them.
Won't get fooled again, is what Nebraska said.
So
who sings it?
The Who.
Nice.
No, I'm not mad at either one. I'm not mad at Iowa because they were like, hey,
yeah, look, if
you
you're
did this
right,
in bad faith, so.
Oh, here it is. They became aware of a discounted group ticket order for the Iowa, Illinois. Yeah. So that's where it, like, if they had just canceled them because they didn't want opposing fans to come in, that's crappy. But if they had given them a good deal because they thought that it was
for kids.
Yeah.
In a boys and girls
and
club.
a non-profit, no less.
Yeah.
Not just a bunch of.
So I like the fact that
Gen Zers.
Iowa turned it around and said, we're going to take those same tickets and we're going to donate them to our local.
That's pretty cool. It's instead of the red carpet experience, the gold carpet experience. Iowa. Good job, Iowa.
Yeah.
Also hilarious
no,
job.
I'm not mad at either side.
I'm not mad.
Connor McCaffrey, son of Fran McCaffrey, who has a big temper, by the way. And basketball player at Iowa said, he tweeted out, okay, fine, I'll say something. Illinois fans, admirable attempt. I love it, but we got you. It was a really good try. This is gamesmanship in a rivalry, and we took this round. More rounds to come. And as for the lost money, that's what you get for posing as the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, that's pretty weak by the Orange Crush is what they call them, with a K. Orange Crush with a K.
I mean, it's a smart way to get discounted tickets.
Props to Iowa for having one win this week, because the huge L they took was when they announced that Brian Ferentz would be back as offensive coordinator. So you win some and you lose some.
You do.
Yeah, indeed.
What's that? What was the word again? It was
Malaphor.
We found out today that Malaphor is the proper term for mixed metaphors.
That's true.
Malaphor.
That's true.
That is our word of the day. Take that word, commit it to memory. And be caller 18 right now.
Oh, baby.
402-951-1620. We have a pair of tickets to give away to Chris Stapleton. Thank you.
John loves him. He's such a huge fan.
Super Bowl national anthem singer.
He is. He's
Chris
singing
Stapleton.
the national anthem at the Super Bowl.
Well, the over-under.
Now,
that's all I
the
care
crazy
about.
thing is, apparently the concert he's going to do here in Omaha in July, he's also going to, that's the only song he's going to do is the national anthem.
July.
But no, Chris Stapleton is appearing in Omaha in July. We have win him before you can buy him tickets.
Wow.
You have to relate to Nick the word of the day, Malaphor.
Caller 18.
Caller
taking all these calls.
18.
Jordan says, look at centrist boy John, not picking a side. Yeah, you were both a fan of Iowa and Illinois with that topic.
Well, I mean, it's hard.
Hanging out in the center.
Listen, I'm fine with
I
that.
have no opinion on the matter.
No, I have an opinion on the matter. The opinion is good on the Illinois, the student group, for trying to trick them, but good on Iowa for catching them and then turning it around and turning it into a positive. Because I saw a lot of tweets out there about, oh, this is a terrible look for Iowa. Oh, Iowa
it would have
like...
been
but
if they
it's
wouldn't
not.
have given him a discount, and that they gave him a discount because, again, of the false pretenses. Matt says they got the tickets at a general group discount, not a special discount for the Boys and Girls Club. Still slimy to impersonate the Boys and Girls
Exactly.
Club. Yeah.
You're doing it to try to make it sound like you're doing it for a good cause when in fact you have nefarious means. So I guess if I had to side with a side, I'd pick Iowa.
Iowa. Wow.
Team Iowa.
All right. The first person who Nick was caller 18. Oh boy.
Didn't know the word.
Oh, who's the name, Nick?
Is he a winner?
Yeah.
Or she?
Jose. Congrats, Jose. Enjoy Chris Stapleton. And all those renditions of the national anthem. 2 hours of the national anthem.
I'm sure he'll have a few more songs than that.
Okay, good.
And we'll be giving away more tickets next week.
What?
So
more?
be listening for Nick's Word of the Day next week.
Wow, look at all these prizes.
On 1620 The Zone. We will be back and have more. I'll hit this one for you, Nick. Oh, wait. The mouse is not going over to the other side. I'm sorry, Nick. You'll have to hit the break. I'll hit the break now on 1620 The Zone.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Join Genesis Health Clubs today for just $10 and save $20 per month every month with no contract. Hi, I'm Rodney Stephen, owner of Genesis Health Clubs, here with the secret to healthy fitness habits. It's true that there are plenty of people who manage to stay consistent with exercise over lunch or after work, but the real secret is scheduling exercise into your daily routine. Pick a time, and that is your time to exercise. What is more important than your health? Nothing. So what time are you working out tomorrow? I'm inviting you to give it a try by joining Genesis Health Clubs for just $10 and save $20 a month, all with no contract. Whether your exercise is at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., schedule your exercise because it's the most important part of your schedule. And now life's little interruptions won't stand in your way. My dad always told us, don't put something off till tomorrow that you can do today. Make today your day for better health. Come into any Genesis location or go online and get started for just $10 and save $20 per month with no contract. Go to GenesisHealthClubs.com to get started today.
J-Tech Construction reminds you that this time of year, your home's energy efficiency is under tension. Don't let your windows cost you by raising your energy bills this winter. J-Tech Construction will come out and provide you with a free estimate on upgrading your windows and keeping your energy costs down. They have custom-made, energy-efficient windows that keep the outside out with the professional installation you would expect. Contact the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers. J-Tech Construction, your exteriorexperts.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Noxitril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitril free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-992-9470. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-992-9470. That's 800-992-9470.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone.
There is no reason that a kid from this state with what is sitting down 45 minutes outside of Omaha has that weight room, that education, that stadium, the money behind those facilities should ever want to not go there.
Catch After Hours 6 to 8 Monday through Friday, or as the sports schedule allows. Brought to you by Payne West on 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
One would think that any snags in a divorce between two schools and a conference trying to move to another conference would be strictly between the husband and the wife, in this case, the schools and the conferences.
Correct.
But in the case of Texas and Oklahoma, who are still scheduled to play one more year in the Big 12 Conference, they have been trying for the last 2 years.
Well, they're actually slated to play in 23 and in 24. So technically 2 more years.
Oh,
right?
yes, 2 more years.
2 more years.
2 more years.
They're contractually slated to join the SEC in 25.
So again, this is like the longest divorce in the history of divorces.
Remember, they announced
because
this
we have
move.
found this 2 off seasons ago.
It was 2021.
Right.
2021, John.
So while Nebraska only had to deal with 1 lame duck season, Texas and Oklahoma are on pace for 4.
Yeah, they're in the midst of 2 still. They still have basketball to finish up, baseball, softball,
right.
yada, yada, yada.
Well, there have been ongoing negotiations between the schools, the Big 12, and the SEC. But the snag is really the children in this analogy.
So who would you say is behind the snag?
The television networks. Because you have Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports.
Which is the home network of many Big 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
And the SEC.
Which is on what network again in the
that
future?
That would be ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to Ross Dellinger of Sports Illustrated, a possibility that has surfaced was a trade of future games. That there would be 4 non-conference Texas games featuring games against Michigan and Ohio State that would be traded back over to Fox as compensation for allowing Texas and Oklahoma to go over to the ESPN family, a.k.a. the SEC. But apparently that trade was denied.
Yeah, because it's not good enough.
Because you're losing Texas and Oklahoma.
Bingo.
You would be getting back 4 non-conference games over 4 years.
Yeah.
Instead of now, if you're Fox, the only way you're going to televise a Texas or an Oklahoma game is if they're playing a team like a Nebraska, for example, in Lincoln, or a team like Kansas in Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
And even that's not a guarantee. So the networks, the children in this analogy, are the things keeping the parents together for the moment.
And now there's a very real scenario where these two schools play in the Big 12 in football and all the other sports for 2 more seasons after this school year is done. 2 more years. In the Athletics report on this earlier, they wrote, the efforts from Texas and Oklahoma to leave the Big 12 and join the SEC ahead of schedule have stalled and reached a breaking point. A person close to the negotiations told The Athletic. A breaking point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like you said it. Nebraska's was, they announced in June. They played football a few months later. They played the other sports over the course of that school year. And,
and by July of the next year, they were officially gone.
The same thing happened with Missouri, with Colorado, with Texas
A&M.
A&M, with all of those schools. The same thing happened where we knew a year in advance that they were going to leave. This is weird. I mean, in and of itself already, this is year 2. They're finishing up year 2 right now. As basketball will end and then the spring sports will begin, that will be year 2. It's obvious that they're going to have a year 3. And then after that, it's like, I mean, what's one more? What's one more year? It's nuts because we remember how uncomfortable it was.
Mm-hmm.
This is uncomfortable, but they also have added the other schools. You missed it the other day. The schedule came out for next year. And so Robbie and I were talking about it, and it was like, oh, that's right. BYU's one of the new members. And Houston. And
Cincinnati.
And UCF. And seeing, like, how are they going to screw Oklahoma? How are they going to screw Texas? And like Oklahoma, they're traveling to Cincinnati in a very tough environment. That's Cincinnati's first ever Big 12 game. I don't remember if it was them or Texas. They have to go to BYU late in the year, right before their conference schedule finishes up. Not to mention, so all that uncomfortability, and then also the state legislators and that perspective, because with Nebraska, no in-state rival to worry about. See you later. We're going to the Big 10.
Yep.
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, and all of that. Texas and just leaving all the other schools in Texas. And then the uncomfortability when they actually do join the SEC of their relationship with Texas A&M. Odd times, man. Odd times. Good on the Big 12, I guess, for keeping them around this long.
Well, and you have to wonder if the SEC and ESPN were banking on the fact of, they'll get over here sooner.
Remember they canceled the series?
We're not going to have to wait 4 years.
They have changed non-conference schedules. Like Oklahoma was slated to play Georgia this year, upcoming season. It got nixed because they were like, you guys will be playing soon enough. And that's why in the early weeks of the 2023 college football season, the non-con's a little light because they're losing out. Texas, I believe, was supposed to play somebody kind of relatively big as well. That's why. Because they're not, they're going to play them in conference in a few seasons. Yeah, you're right. Those networks were probably banking on that. Now they don't get it.
No. I hope that they do get a little bit of a Scrooge job.
Texas and Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Why not?
I mean, they got to be good enough to maybe deserve and warrant that screw job like Nebraska did in 2010, but
Well, I mean, it is
dare to dream, Oklahoma and Texas.
This past year notwithstanding, they've been okay.
Mm-hmm. And one more thing, it's been good for the league that in the last 2 seasons, the conference championship games have been Oklahoma State Baylor, and Kansas State TCU. That's been incredibly valuable for this league. That it has not been any combination of Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah, because the last time the teams left, Nebraska was in the final game.
They were in the final game, and they lost, but they were in the final game.
They were in the final game.
And it's been good, too, for good teams to emerge. I mean, Oklahoma State, if they beat Baylor, they're most likely in the playoff. TCU lost. They had such a good season, they lost, and they still made the playoff, and then they made the national championship.
How awkward is that going to be if it happens? What if Texas and Oklahoma played for the last Big 12 title in their last game?
Oh, my gosh.
In 24.
I actually would like to see it. That'd be kind of fun. Another neutral site game in Dallas, but in the different stadium.
As much as, we all fantasized, oh, how great is it going to be if Dan Beebe has to give that trophy over to Nebraska?
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. That'd be interesting.
But we'll have to wait 2 more years for that drama to play out, if it plays out. Coming up next, it's One Beer Friday. It's the happy hour. 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Time-Saving Traffic Center, looks like a crash is causing delays on the North Freeway at Lake Street for northbound commuters. Be ready for delays in that area. A stall still has the right lane blocked on westbound Maple just before 120th. Getting reports of delays on westbound Dodge between 74th and 90th. Also delays on southbound 680 in the area of Dodge. If you're north on 144th, delays between 370 and I-80, and delays on southbound 84th between I-80 and L Street. I'm Mike Neville.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
It's a celebration of love at Saul's Jewelry and Loan. Now through Valentine's Day, get 50% off a huge selection of jewelry. Diamond rings, 50% off. Gold chains, 50% off. Bracelets, 50% off. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. It's the celebration of love sale at Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our comfort specialist can handle any heater repair. Call 402-788-1234 for $50 off any repair.
Always on time, or you don't pay time.
Terms and conditions may apply. Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county. Trust 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to help keep your heater running strong. Visit McCarthy's1hour.com to schedule your preseason tune-up for just $79.
Always on time, or you don't pay time.
Terms and conditions may apply. Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Do you like to shoot fireworks? Would you like to get paid to shoot fireworks? J&M Displays wants you. Help shoot an Omaha Storm Chasers game, Memorial Park display, or any of the major shows in Western Iowa and all of Nebraska. If you like to travel, J&M covers Nebraska, Kansas, and most of Missouri. They offer free training and great daily pay rates, which makes it a perfect part-time job. Visit jnmdisplays.com and click the Join Our Team tab to find out more. J&M Fireworks.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Chris, this needs to go to Parkville by 3.
Joy to the holiday packages that keep coming at Jimenez Couriers.
It's coming your way, but the drop-off location is changing.
She needs delivery drivers with the gift of punctuality.
Anyone looking to pick up some overtime? Anyone?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, friends. Kent Pavelka courtside getting ready for this year's matchup between the Average Roofing Companies and the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. The Average Roofers are just that, average at best, not very impressive. The Rooferees, above and beyond the opponent, more dependable, service that exceeds the norm, good sportsmanship, fairness, and integrity. You know them, you love them, and they're ready to win for you. Make the right call with John Higgins Weather Guard. It's tip-off time with the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Your Creighton Blue Jays women's basketball team heads to New Jersey to take on the Seton Hall Pirates Tuesday night. It's Creighton women's basketball versus the Seton Hall Pirates, Tuesday, 6 p.m. on 1180 The Zone.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no per-ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Throw. It would be nice to have a 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 throw from your mom.
I drank beer with my friends. Sometimes I had too many beers. I liked beer.
I still like beer. Had beers, have some beers. One beer, drink beer, drinks beer, drank beer, and drinking beer.
Upstairs, downstairs, where was it? I don't know, but I had one beer.
Friday!
We probably have Beer Center each week. Ralph Club, biggest contributor.
Beer. I like beer. I don't know if you like Beer Center or not. What do you like to drink?
Next
I had one beer. Friday. Yeehaw!
Hanging out and having some beers with friends, which I gladly do and which I fully embrace.
Well, you think it was... Nope, there was one beer. Friday.
Let's hear the chorus. When you say put, you say it on.
Yeah, it's that time. Pabst Brewing since 1844. Though, I mean, it's not made by. Well, I guess it still
before
says
the Civil War.
It still
John.
says Pabst Brewing, but
Remember the Civil War?
Aren't they owned
John,
by
there's
someone?
some problematic people in the Civil War.
Oh yeah, good take, Nick.
Well, but there were also good people in the Civil War.
On many sides.
Nick just choked on his beer.
There was
I
the
almost spat
correct
good-
side and the bad side.
They were good people too, the people that were fighting for the good cause.
Mm-hmm.
Though some of them weren't totally sold.
Yeah,
on
they
the
probably
reason
still
why,
said the
but,
bad words.
Yeah.
Did you know the British were low-key helping the South because the British relied on the South for a lot of their textiles?
Another check in the box of John's good take on the Brits. Hello, governor. Remember that when the Queen died?
Oh yeah, they're
R.I.P. Liz.
They're morons.
Liz, R.I.P.
Terrible.
I have
Just awful.
triggered James, by the way.
Why did you trigger? This is the happy hour, not the triggered hour.
Well, tell that to James.
And it's One Beer Friday.
James,
you don't
pop
want to be
open-
triggered. And
Pop open a beer, bro.
Yeah, pop open a beer, send us a pic just like everyone else.
Grab
Use the
a
hashtag
peeper.
One Beer Friday and share what you're drinking this beautiful weekend where the sun's going to be out apparently, and they say it's going to be 50 degrees.
Gosh, your negativity. See, I thought this was the happy hour.
Negative well, you
Negative
just brought us
boys,
down
boys.
because James, what the hell is James triggering about?
Holy crap. In Mount Washington, up in the Northeast, the wind chill is negative 104 degrees. That's cool. It's a new record. James is triggered because of me.
Global warming, my ass.
James writes, can't take it anymore. As a product of the J school at UNL myself, can we please stop using the non-word comfortability? See, he spells it weird, which is how it would be spelled if it was an actual word. Josh just said uncomfortability. That should be discomfort. Be better. Words matter.
Did you say?
I thought I said uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't.
You don't pay attention to yourself.
No,
I don't remember you saying a weird word.
Uncomfortability. I've never said uncomfortability. I don't think I have. So I don't know how I can stop saying something I haven't said.
Oh,
yeah, John. If I would have said that, you would have made fun of me for it. You'd have been like, "You're an idiot."
Well, I might have, and I might not have, because
you also said, "Oh, you owe us a quarter."
I'm fading.
You owe us a quarter.
You know what? I knew this was going to happen.
How about the fact too? Yeah, you've been so good at it, but then Parker comes on and you're very nonchalant.
Also owe a quarter.
That was off the air.
It
I don't know.
counts.
No, you asked me what's the name of a Bruce Springsteen song, and I told you what it's called.
What's it called?
I'm not going to say it now. Nebraska, wasn't that his album? Was that him? Who's the guy who has
This is
the
why
album
I
Nebraska?
should not have brought quarters with me, because then I wouldn't have screwed up. Well, those Bronco burgers are going to taste delicious.
Dude, I don't know, man. I feel like we might be able to go somewhere nicer than that now.
How
We might
much
go to,
money
like,
are
a
we going to be able to
steakhouse.
fit in that jar?
We're going to have to get a bigger jar. We're going to have to get JFK's head.
How long is this going?
Kent, bring us JFK.
How long is this going for?
The whole year.
Oh, it's the whole year?
This is, I think, the day before our last show together this year, before the crossover specials, we go out to lunch. We're going to have to take John to lunch pretty soon anyway.
That's right, because I'm the winner, and
But
you're not.
I'm second place, right?
Speaking of second place,
believe
that's
you were
what John is in predictions right now. I'm in third, and we're almost done. We have 2 weeks left.
Who's in
that's-
first?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I realized that this morning when you
Nick,
said it.
That's right, because this round of predictions is the shortest round, and it ends after the Super Bowl.
Rats.
Call me short round.
Oh, we'll call you short, all right. Rats.
The NCAA has changed some things when it comes to NIL. You know, they've recently hired more investigators. They're getting serious about this. They're getting serious about this, man. We got to get serious about this NIL. It's out of control. Kids are making a lot of money from third parties, and that's not good. And
this is not good.
Here's the other part of it that is going to be a little, I think, problematic. Reading from Ross Dellinger's story in SI.com from earlier this week. Thanks to new rules passed, investigators can now use circumstantial evidence, like a tip or a news story, instead of on-record sourcing to presume that an NCAA school violated rules. Schools can disprove the allegation or else be potentially charged. The move strengthens the enforcement staff's ability to charge schools and allows more leeway for investigators. According to John Duncan, the NCAA Vice President of Enforcement, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Instead of putting the burden on the enforcement staff to always come up with a smoking gun, which we don't always have, there is a presumption. It puts the burden on the school. It's a really powerful tool. In other words, it's the presumption of guilt, not the presumption of innocence, which is the foundation of our jurisprudence. Innocent until proven guilty. In this case, they can use circumstantial evidence.
Wow.
They can use circumstantial
They can use
evidence.
an article by Mitch Sherman on The Athletic.
Yes, they can.
And that's the first thing I thought of was the story about the player who eventually we found out to be Tennessee's quarterback for the 2023 recruiting class. That was the first person I thought of because there was that story from last summer, I believe, where it was like, yeah, here's one guy who's getting offered $8 million a year or $8 million total. I'm like, what? Sure enough, it's Tennessee's new quarterback. So in theory, they can use that.
Feels weird.
Feels very weird, Nick.
It's very odd when you consider literally, I mean, this stuff's out there all the time. The rumors, the hearsay. Hey, I heard so-and-so is getting $500,000 a year.
I was just going to say, the lineman who decided to go to Oklahoma, and I'm forgetting his name for the time being, from Stanford.
From Stanford, yes, I am too. But
he was a player, and $500,000. That was the rumored amount. There was a post on the Iowa 24/7 board from one of their writers, and he said, "Yeah, I heard it was $500,000 that Nebraska offered," and
something like that.
Walter Rouse.
Something like that can be used for the NCAA to swoop in and say, okay, Nebraska, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And then Nebraska then has to disprove if something untoward had taken place.
Because they're guilty until proven innocent?
Because they're guilty until proven innocent. And here's where things can get rather challenging. I don't know if you know this about our media landscape.
I had not even thought of
our
this.
media landscape is very, very parochial. In some avenues, some call it partisan.
But certainly in college sports media.
In college sports media and in pro media as well.
Yes, for sure.
But especially in college media, you have a number of news organizations.
Yeah.
Especially on the internet. Everyone's on the internet.
I know what you meant.
But
internet-specific websites.
Their job is to cover that school. And in many cases, the lines get blurred very often between coverage of a school and outright openly cheering for a school.
Well, how about local sites that, have a obvious relationship with one of the
collectives,
and they use their logos in some of their interviews and those types of things? I mean, look at our media landscape here alone. And I'm guessing it's like this at a lot of places, like the Alabamas, the Auburns, those types of schools. You go through the list of writers that cover this program and then even radio personalities. And just off the top of my head, there's not a whole lot of non-Nebraska graduates You and I are absolutely in the majority. We had Parker Gabriel on earlier. He was a rare beat writer around here that went to somewhere else, and he went to Wisconsin. Severe, obviously, he did not go to Nebraska, on the radio for many years. But think about right now, I don't know, did Hanley go to? I think Hanley went to Nebraska. Right now, all 5 of us that are on the zone went to Nebraska. World Herald, Sam McEwen, Evan Bland. Chattel went to Missouri, but he's been around here so long.
Right.
And that was not me saying our media is biased, but look, man, I think we all have skin in the game for Nebraska. It'd be good for business if they were finally good again. And all of us have a relationship to the program that goes back to when we were kids.
And also keep in mind that a lot of these new site or team-specific sites focus on what? Recruiting. Where
Correct.
all the rumors and all the speculation comes out in the fore.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is this, if the NCAA now can just use a simple tip or a news story
from Auburn 24/7 about Alabama's operation,
they can instantly swoop in and make Alabama disprove the allegation. Now, in some cases, if it's just outright made up,
then you can disprove it theoretically fast.
But there might be stuff there. The problem is there may be elements of truth, even if not the whole thing is true. Let's say we'll just use the Walter Rouse example. The rumors were always making $500,000. Well, maybe it turns out that it was actually $50,000, but it was still maybe not totally on the up and up. And I'm not alleging, by the way, whether it was $500,000 or if it was $50,000 that Nebraska was necessarily doing anything illegal in their NIL, negotiations or recruitment of Walter Rouse. I'm just using this as an example because it's been a recent one that's been out there. But that is the problem with guilty before, you're guilty before you're proven innocent.
Well, how about this too?
It's there's going to be so many potential tips out there. There's going to be so many potential things. Eventually, you're going to be chasing your tail. And I don't think this is actually going to yield the results that the NCAA is wanting. And that is to curb all of this ridiculously exorbitant and potentially out of the bounds of the rules, whatever rules there are that exist, of NIL.
Well, not to mention, given how the NCAA has operated lately, I don't think that they're going to want to even do all of the legwork that they'd have to do here. I think Simple Appreciation Club, he brings up a great point. How would a school be able to disprove NIL accusations from the NCAA if they're not supposed to be part of the NIL operations?
That's true.
I saw a story, and I want to make sure that I find this exactly so I can bring it up to you. Here it is. So LSU announced a new collective this week, the 30th. So what's that, Sunday? Monday? Bayou Traditions, the official collective of LSU athletics. I'm going to read from the release. Scott Woodward, the athletic director of LSU, he said this: Bayou Traditions is a new way LSU fans can support the success of our championship athletic programs and our elite student athletes in the NIL era. This collective, this is me now, allows for fans to donate money that will go into the fund and then be dispersed. So basically, I think what it's trying to do is get Joe Fan, who might not be able to pony up hundreds of thousands of dollars, but wants to feel a part of the game. And hey, I'll throw in $25. I'll throw in $10, and suddenly that's how it grows and grows and grows. And I saw this story, and it's like, cool. That's what I kind of expect a lot of this stuff to do. And then I'm like, man, I think of the fan who is already donating for a season ticket seat license, who then buys the season tickets, who then goes to the games, and all of the money that they're spending. And now the $1 million university or the $1 million athletic department getting hundreds of millions of dollars from television contracts is saying, hey, could you throw in a few more bucks? And it's just, look, it's so obvious as we are now, 18 months, 20 months into the NIL era, how it's so obvious that we're going to get to a point at some point soon. Well, I hope soon, where the schools are just paying the players directly, because it's just, this stuff is untenable. This idea is untenable from the NCAA, that you could go off of that. Like, look, if you want to go off of anonymous tips that has actual info and intel, more power to you.
Yeah.
But there is a gray area because of what you said, the parochial nature of college athletics, and how, just like here in Nebraska, many of the writers that cover the programs that they cover, they went to that university.
Sure.
And they have skin in the game.
Sure.
And that could cause some problems, even if it's not being done on purpose, but it could still cause quite a few problems and quite a few headaches.
Well, and who knows? Maybe nothing will come of this, and that's probably my guess. Is not a lot is going to come of this, or what will come of this is furthering the murkiness of the waters when it comes to making up new rules and new regulations, because it seems like the NCAA is always 2 or 3 or 20 steps behind what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And then every new rule they make, well, that just opens the Pandora's box somewhere else. This organization, AKA its schools, are constantly chasing their tail. And honestly, I really don't know where or how it's going to end.
It's going to end with the schools paying the players.
Maybe.
I think it is.
Maybe.
I just think at a certain point, and I think the situation with Florida and Jaden Rashad, I think that is going to be a breaking point for a lot of these coaches and then universities, because that stuff, that's untenable. Where promises are being made by outside forces, and suddenly a player that they thought was the cornerstone of their class, a quarterback, is gone because, again, of lies or mistruths or half-truths, whatever it was, led to him leaving. And at a certain point, coaches are going to say, we can't do this, and there will be enough people screaming that we can't do this. And they're making enough money, and the TV contracts are going to keep climbing higher and higher. They're going to have the money. Well, I mean,
they'll have the money. The problem is, will they be able to do it legally without having to pay everybody, from the number one football player to the last person on the water polo team?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I talk about, untethering the programs from the school so that there's not that connection. And that's the tricky thing.
Let me ask you a question.
I honestly think the school's paying the players, while it's the most logical solution, I think it's the most difficult solution in terms of all the things that it will take to do it without leading to lawsuits and,
let me ask you a question.
Everything blowing up.
Because football, they get more benefits. The players get more benefits than the baseball players, right? And I'm not even just talking about the raw scholarship. I'm talking about everything else.
Yeah, they get an extra scoop of mashed potatoes every dinner.
They get lots of stuff that the other sports don't.
They do. They get better travel, usually stay in better hotels.
Correct.
Sure.
So, there is obviously
There's a pecking order.
Yeah, and so I guess I'm going to say the lawyers will figure that part out, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
You're right. It's a good point.
Well, the lawyers will figure it out, but there'll be a lot of lawyers involved, and they'll make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got in the wrong business.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did.
Weird times. Again, this is, I think about it a lot, especially just given what we've gone through in our nation's history over the last few years. But I think about how it's so easy when you are removed from the equation to look back at a historical event and say, that was wrong and they should have done this. Or am I really happy that they did that because it was the right side? And only until recent years have I realized, wow, like living in the moment of it and having to figure it out on the day-to-day when we don't have all the information and we're trying to figure it out. And I mean, you can talk about that for the biggest news events of the last few years, and you can talk about it for something goofy like name, image, likeness, and how in not even 2 years, how much has changed just with how this is operating and how we originally thought this is great. It's going to be awesome. Adrian Martinez can talk about deodorant, and I thought we would just see commercials everywhere. I'd be on Instagram and it'd be like, hey, there's Adrian Martinez hawking deodorant. Nope, it's not that. It's just, local boosters combining all their money to give to players.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did we all miss that in the moment? Weird times.
And we didn't even get to Coldest Crawford talking about air conditioning.
I know, and now he's gone. He's gone.
There's so many HVAC companies in the city.
Yep, and now
in Lincoln too.
And now he's
Well,
gone.
yes, but there's only one that's really good, and that's
Absolutely.
McCarthy's.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're all good, but McCarthy's is better.
1 hour. I hear 1 hour.
They're 1 hour. Always on time. Or you don't pay a dime.
McCarthy's 1hour.com.
Yeah. Coming up next, predictions.
Ooh.
We got 2 weeks to catch to Nick. But I have great news coming up in predictions today.
Oh.
Great news. Because, we have no football to bet on this week. We have no football to pick.
The Pro Bowl?
Yeah, the Pro Bowl. There's flag football.
But we have something even better on 1620 The Zone.
It's the 5K giveaway on 1620 The Zone. Enter to win a $5,000 shopping spree right now at 1620thezone.com. It's the 5K giveaway on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Your Friday evening forecast will include partly cloudy skies with temperatures dipping into the lower 20s around daybreak Saturday. By the afternoon, a few clouds with temperatures warming into the upper 40s. In Omaha, I'm tracking a high temperature of 49 degrees. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the time-saving traffic center, heads up a crash on 15th Street southbound at Cornhusker is causing delays. It's causing delays on Cornhusker for both directions between 15th and Fort Crook Road. A crash still has the right shoulder blocked on the northbound North Freeway at Lake Street. And then if you're west on Dodge, expect delays between 680 and 120th. I'm Mike Neville.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
The Nebraska Lottery has raised over $908 million, which has helped to provide more than 117,000 college scholarships, save wildlife habitats across the state, and fund new facilities at the Nebraska State Fair. The Nebraska Lottery, helping to build a better Nebraska.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
From basketball to volleyball, baseball to softball, soccer, tennis, and so much more, the Creighton sports season is packed with action. The 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law, covers it all. Each week, we visit with Blue Jay athletes and coaches to hear their stories and document their climb through the Big East Conference. The 1620 The Jays podcast drops each Friday morning and is found at 1620thezone.com and all major podcast platforms. Just search 1620 The Jays. Covering all things Creighton Blue Jays, it's the 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law from 1620 The Zone.
Omaha Maverick baseball and softball season tickets are on sale now. Don't miss a pitch or run scored. 2023 season tickets include in-state rivals Creighton and Nebraska. Get your tickets by calling 402-554-MAVS. That's 402-554-MAVS.
Milk, eggs, $42. Ma'am, you okay?
Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in now for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes. That's up to $3,500 today. Don't let high prices get you down. When every dollar matters, it matters who does your taxes. So get to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loaned by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
I am not as white as people think I am.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for predictions.
Over, bet the over. Vikings in the over, bet the over.
I talked to Stibbs this week about this, and he thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I told Stibbs about it when we were at
God, no, Stibbs died. So did his sense of humor.
Seriously, a lot has changed.
When we were doing that show on the road at that Fernando's.
Fernando's.
Yeah, Fernando's.
Yeah.
I told Stibbs about it in front of you guys. You didn't hear it. And he said, "That's amazing. Do it."
Yeah, he's an idiot. Dion commenting.
Unbelievable.
Says, John seems actually nice today.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's awesome.
I think you're
John,
stupid.
good job.
Way to be nice, John.
Now, you spelled your name wrong.
Well, Because Deion's stupid.
Unless he meant Shriner. Maybe he's been talking to Shriner.
Maybe he's been talking about Shriner.
That could
Yeah.
be.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last week in predictions, Nick and I actually had a pretty good week. Nick went 10-5. I went 9-6, and Josh went 7-8.
That's crazy because I picked both games right, so I just was missing all the props.
Because
I went 2-0 ATS.
Well, remember
I also thought there was gonna
you
be
predicted
points.
a push in Bengals Chiefs.
Yeah,
you picked a push.
There weren't enough points in that. I also almost had the overtime prop.
But almost only counts
in horseshoes and hand grenades.
In horseshoes and hand grenades.
And Scott Frost year 4, so he can get a year 5.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you had good news about predictions. Tell me more.
Well, let's get to it.
Okay.
It's the it's not only the Pro Bowl weekend, but it's also NHL All-Star Game weekend.
Did you know there are 2 games?
I didn't realize that they split the games into divisions, and now that divisions play each other.
Hockey, you wonder why people don't care about your sport until May. This is why. 2 games. Are there 3 games this weekend, actually? Is it like a little tournament?
I have no idea.
Hot take. Being an all-star actually would kind of suck because you still have to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, I
That
always
is
think about
true.
that. I'm like, oh, man, wouldn't you just want the week off?
It used to mean something way back when you got paid a lot extra and you weren't making as much money. But
now they're
that
all
you're making
millionaires.
millions,
They
it's
just go,
not
oh, my hammy.
it
Oh,
hurt.
man, I'm sore.
So the Pacific Division is taking on the Central Division, Nick.
Give me Central.
I think the
guess.
Pacific time zone rules. Give me the Pacific.
Wow.
I've always wanted to live with that time zone, especially
Central-
now that I wake up early.
That's too early.
Central
Hell
time
no.
zone is the best time
10
zone.
a.m. NFL. Oh, my gosh. 9 a.m. college football?
Gross.
Dude,
I'm
what?
a homeboy. Central, man.
Yes,
Pacific.
Central.
They can't play hockey in the Pacific time zone. It's too damn warm.
Central's best time.
San Jose Sharks, aren't they good? They're in the Pacific?
The Metropolitan versus the Atlantic. I'm going with the Metro.
Yeah, Atlantic sounds like garbage.
Metropolitan sounds like it's from the 20s. Give me the Metropolitan.
That's a good take, Nick.
Like the
I agree
Mets.
with you. Yeah, with the little logo with the like a thing spinning around the
Yeah.
ball on top of
Real Art Deco.
Yeah,
Some Gatsby
yes.
type of
yeah.
thing.
Whoa, Nick almost said the S word.
It did not. though.
NBA.
Hell yeah.
The Suns. Why the hell, of all the NBA games, why are we picking a Suns game? Aren't they bad?
They are, but they're playing the Celtics, who are good.
Why are we picking this game?
I don't know. Padilla held my arm and twisted it. Said you have
I
to pick
find
it.
that highly unlikely. He does not seem like a violent type. Or one who would
Well,
know
Josh
how to
probably
properly
instigated it.
execute an arm bar.
Did you throw a slushy inside of his car?
I would never do that to
Probably, he
Jacob.
probably did. Suns plus 9.5 at the Celtics. Now, after I just insulted him, I'm going to take your team. I'll take the Suns.
Last time I took the Suns in predictions, he called me an idiot. Give me the Celtics.
I want the Celtics.
Yeah, but I believe the Suns actually covered, didn't they?
No,
Didn't they cover that?
they
time?
didn't. And then he was like, see, I told you. Like, yeah, good job, Jacob.
Well, that's a lot of points. I'll say. I'll
Jacob keeps tweeting at
I'll
me
be
about Nick
backing up-
Sirianni.
I'll be-
He's not even an Eagles fan. Shut up, Jacob.
He's having fun with you.
Yeah, I know. I don't like it.
The
Packers stunk. And
The
they still beat the Cowboys.
The Kings are 2.5-point favorites at the Pistons.
You seen this? Have you heard about this? Sacramento going to make the playoffs for the first time in 19 years?
I mean, you talk about a franchise that nobody cares about, and
Except
B,
in
a
2002.
franchise that sucks.
You want to talk about a team, a franchise that I hated for a few years?
The Kings?
Dude, I was a diehard Lakers
Who the
fan.
hell hates the Kings, except for
02?
people who have to live under their subjugation.
I forget the Kings exist.
Oh, 02 was it's one of the greatest series of my entire life as a fan.
But now that you're not a fan, who
Yeah, you don't
cares?
care
Yeah,
about
go
NBA.
Kings. Yeah, give me the Kings.
Okay.
King.
You know what? I like speed. Give me the Pistons. I know they're bad, but cars are cool.
Wait, who's bad? The Pistons or Cars?
Pistons.
Okay.
Eeple. What is Eeple?
What?
Well, Josh sent me this prediction for Eeple.
Wait, who did you pick in the Kings Pistons thing?
Kings.
Okay.
Brentford
Oh, hey.
versus
Southampton.
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 What the hell is this? What is Eeple?
Oh, see, why do you always do this? Why can't you be normal? This is you don't say "nb" or "wob" for MLB. You know how to do abbreviations in every other sport.
All right, what is EPL? Does it stand
The
for
English Premier
Eastern-
League?
Hello, governor.
Barclays.
Eastern
Fish and chips, yeah?
poop lard?
What?
I'll go with Brentford because he sounds like a better soccer player than Southampton.
Ooh, Brentford related to
Whitey Ford?
No, who's the Ford who ran Ford?
Henry.
Henry?
That guy had some takes. Oh boy. Don't give him a podcast in 2023. Canceled. Because of that, give me Southampton.
I just want to say Southampton.
Amazing Jada says that famous tropical hideaway, Vancouver, # Pacific time zone.
Well, now that Josh is making us pick the Eaple.
The
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
my God. What is that that I see on the horizon?
There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It could be.
La Liga.
La Liga. That's Spanish for the Liga.
La Liga. Some people just have a Liga or the Liga, but only one has La Liga. You know, I was overhearing an interview with one of the winning players from the Argentinian World Cup team, and they were saying, isn't this the greatest moment of your soccer life? And this person said, it's the second greatest. The first greatest was when I won a game in La Liga.
In a random February game. That was their best moment ever. You know what that reminds me of real quick before we pick it? That reminds me of being at a resort in Mexico and you're sitting there relaxing. It's quiet. You're reading a book, not going to see any old ancient history. And suddenly they turn up the thing and a guy grabs a microphone and then that type of music plays and it's like, time to dance. And it's like, but I don't want to dance. All right.
It's time to dance, Josh.
Espanol versus Yokozuna.
I'll go with
Osasuna. I'll take Osasuna.
I'll go with Espanol.
Osasuna, I guess.
And Jerome Bettis.
We are doing 2 La Liga games?
Yes, because it is the best soccer.
Dos La Liga.
This is
Jerome
stupid.
Bettis versus
2 minutes. Dos.
Celta Vigo.
I already
Which
picked
stands for the Vigo.
I already picked the Celtics earlier, so I'm going to go with Jerome here.
All right.
Let's go Jerome.
Ditto. Jerome Bettis.
I like Vigo rice, so
I don't even know what that is.
it's good rice, yellow rice.
You know what else is back? NASCAR. The Busch Light Clash.
Is this a
at
stupid thing at the Coliseum?
Yes, they're racing inside the Coliseum.
They put in the concrete, but it's in like sections.
Dumb.
Is it even concrete or is it just
John,
asphalt?
good job. You attached the link. It actually
I always
worked.
attach
Yeah,
the
and
link.
it never works.
Well, that's not my fault. It's your crappy computer.
No, that's not true.
Pick. I pick 3. Pick 3.
Hamlin, Bell, Logano,
Bush, Larson. I'll go with Nick and Bell. Man, this sucks. This is the worst part of predictions when we have to talk about NASCAR every week. Woat.
Hell yeah. I grew up on NASCAR.
Thank God next
Let's
week we bring
go.
golf back.
I wish it didn't suck anymore.
Let's
But,
go.
You miss Winston Cup?
Winston Cup was cool.
Big cigarette guy?
Nextel Cup was also cool. So it was
Nextel. Remember the walkie-talkie phones?
Yeah.
Let's go.
My
Larson.
uncle had one of those. It seems so unnecessary. It's like, why do you need
Larson, Chastain,
Laugh in the Chastain?
and let's go Christopher.
Life in the Chastain.
He was the dude that did the pass where he rode the wall.
Yeah, the wall ride.
That was fun.
They made it illegal in e-racing, by the way.
Well, they also made it illegal in real racing too.
Really?
Yeah. College basketball, big game tonight. Boise State at San Diego State.
Can you tell the listeners why it's a big game?
Because San Diego State is ranked and Boise State is not. Because it's a big game.
Boise
it's
State
a
has
Friday night at
potatoes.
San Diego State.
Cool.
It's
Awesome.
Boise State. Big
San Diego
Mountain West
State.
Battle.
San Diego State. Their home environment is very hard to play in.
Yes, it is.
We were talking about how stadiums and arenas are built. That thing is like straight up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
I mean,
with
it's
you
not
guys.
like that. Nick.
Right.
It's like you're not going to.
You're gonna take San Diego State.
I'm going to take San Diego State.
You know what? Let's go Boise for the cover. These are Ken Palm estimated lines. 2 big matchups in the Big 12 tomorrow. Kansas is at Iowa State.
Ooh, I actually might have a line for you, John. I do.
What is it?
1.5 for the Jayhawks. Rock.
Ooh, so
Chalk.
they're going against what Ken Palm might be estimating.
This is the FanDuel Sportsbook promo code 1620.
So
Thank you,
Kansas
Nick.
minus 1.5 at Iowa State.
Well, screw that. I'm going with Ken Palm then. Give me the clones.
Yeah, give me the clones.
Where do you come out on this?
Kansas kind of low-key sucks at basketball this season, don't they?
They do. They lost.
They had a rough patch.
They're still in the top 10.
They were good at football, so they have to be bad at basketball. They sold their soul.
They're pulling the nose up. I'll go Iowa State too. Texas at Kansas State. Is there a line on this one?
There is. Kansas
Ken Palm's
State
got them at about Texas minus 1.5.
Kansas State minus a half point.
Ooh, so it's basically a pick 'em.
How has Texas done ever
Well,
since the whole their coach got fired situation?
Oh, they've been fine.
Apparently fine.
They've been
Give
fine.
me Texas.
Wow,
I'm gonna go Texas.
problematic.
No, Nick, they fired him. He's gone. Give me Texas plus a half point.
Kansas State.
K-State.
Do you have a line? Nebraska, Penn State.
There
Do
is
they have
not
a
one
line?
for that. There
Well,
is
that's
one for.
that's because it's Sunday.
Yeah, nobody cares anyway.
That's on Sunday. Ken Palm estimate Nebraska plus 7 at Penn State. Give me the Nittany Lions.
Retweet.
Same.
Yeah.
Biggest lead in the game over under 10.5.
John, I'm worried that this one's going to be gross.
Ooh, you're taking taking the over, huh?
Give me the under.
Wow. So Nick says a closer game.
S's and G's.
All right. I do have a line for the game that you're about to give us after you pick it.
It's largest lead. It could be either side. Maybe Nebraska gets off to a big start.
Both sides, says John.
Over on the biggest lead. So what do you have? Creighton and Villanova.
Creighton minus 9.5.
All right. So the Ken Palm's a little high there. Creighton minus 9.5 over Villanova. They have won in this 5-game winning streak. All their wins have been by double digits.
Yeah, I kind of wanted the 12.5 because I was going to take Villanova. I think I'm going to still take Villanova, but I wanted a few more points. Give me Villanova plus the 9.5.
Give me the Jays.
John always picks Creighton.
Actually, no. I picked Xavier to cover last week.
Ha! Nice job, idiot.
That didn't go well.
Who are you picking here?
Which is why I'm picking Villanova this week so that
Nice.
they won't cover again.
By the way, I didn't realize this. Gonzaga, St. Mary's tomorrow night. How about that?
Yeah, it's another
9:30.
good one. There's some good games
Awesome.
tomorrow in college basketball. And the final pick,
Awesome.
prop bet, Ryan Kalkbrenner over under 69.5.
Nice.
Field goal percentage. Give me big Kalk.
Yeah, doesn't Chance have a few drops?
Probably.
I'm going to go with
Just
the
gave him another
I'm
one.
going to go with the undies.
Yeah, I want the undies.
And that is predictions.
Padilla says that the pick that I made was good. I'm not going to read the rest of his tweet.
Why?
It just mentions things that happened. Nobody needs to see that garbage.
Oh, the Eagles going to the Super Bowl?
No, he didn't say that, but he'll probably say it. Ugh. He's not even an Eagles fan. The Eagles beat the Packers, and yet he's celebrating Nick Sirianni. Congrats, Jacob, on Nick Sirianni being good for the Eagles.
I actually was walking Wrigley when that game ended. The
Eagles.
Packers Cowboys, because I thought Dallas was going to roll and run away with it because they're up 2 touchdowns, and I left the house.
Yep, but they're a dumb franchise.
And then I turned my phone on and I saw it was in overtime, and
you probably just cackled to yourself.
I didn't cackle to myself. I just cackled. Period. And then Dallas lost.
They lost.
Yeah.
And now the Eagles are in the Super Bowl.
And the Eagles are in the Super
Can
Bowl.
I have
People
some
forget.
sports happiness someday? Again, I have all the other stuff going for me, just not the sports happiness. That's all I want.
Find a new sport.
Other than football? Like what?
Formula One.
You were happy. You were happy when I lost that bet to you and had to buy you a steak dinner.
Which one was that?
Don't you remember when I said the Cubs weren't going to win the
Oh,
pennant?
yeah. That was fun when the Cubs were good. That was fun. If the Royals were good, that'd be fun.
Well, they were.
Royals.
We were on the air for both of them.
No, I know that was fun, but like I didn't
So
really
there
get
you go. You've had happiness.
Yeah, but that, I mean, even my Lakers fandom, like that was fun, but it was like,
Well, now you hate the Lakers because you hate the NBA.
I do hate the NBA. No, I'm in on it. Remember, I have cable now. I'm back in on the NBA. I got
TNT, Josh.
TNT Tuesdays.
Well, coming up next,
TN Tuesday.
Content.
You know, it'll be the second time today on this program that the JFK assassination has been referenced.
Oh.
Yep. We'll explain when we come back on 1620 The Zone.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
It's time to find a career that's right for you. Metropolitan Community College can help you find a new path forward on your time. Whether you need a degree that puts you on a path to a new career or need to finish a degree you've already started, MCC makes it affordable and convenient with a flexible class schedule, online or on campus. It's your time to path forward. Let MCC show you the way. Register today. Classes start March 9th. Apply today at mccneb.edu/adults.
Every pro is an MVP to us. As a Lowe's MVP's Rewards member, you can earn bonus points when you shop select products and brands. Then redeem them for exciting rewards like tools, sports memorabilia, e-gift cards, and more. Join today to become a member and start earning. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Subject to program terms. While supplies last. Points expire at end of calendar year. Visit Lowe's.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Guys, let's face it, there is a time when you just need to get out of the house, to have your own place, to be with the guys, or just a quiet, relaxing place for yourself. Well, Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge hears you loud and clear. Settle in. Escape to Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge for an incredible selection plus premium cocktails, a knowledgeable, friendly staff, state-of-the-art humidor, and incredible lounge. Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 at 48th Street next to Covey's.
Do you like to shoot fireworks? Would you like to get paid to shoot fireworks? J&M Displays wants you. Help shoot an Omaha Storm Chasers game, Memorial Park display, or any of the major shows in western Iowa and all of Nebraska. If you like to travel, J&M covers Nebraska, Kansas, and most of Missouri. They offer free training and great daily pay rates, which makes it a perfect part-time job. Visit jnmdisplays.com and click the Join Our Team tab to find out more. J&M Fireworks.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Look, I made you some
Unsportsmanlike
content.
Unsportsmanlike content.
Unsportsmanlike content. Content that's unsportsmanlike.
Hey, here we go with some content.
Hi.
Hello, Nick.
Hello.
Pro Bowl is this weekend. People forget. Will you guys watch any of it?
There's a very good chance I won't even remember that it's on. I will certainly not go out of my way.
Is it Sunday?
Well, I don't know because it's the primer. It's the Pro Bowl games. It's not an actual game. It's just a bunch of
what is
exercises and
flag football,
and,
John,
and goofy crap.
But see, it's other stuff. Is it flag football, Nick? Are we sure?
Yes, flag football's at the end. We will also be airing the Pro Bowl right here on
Wait,
1620 The Zone.
Wait, they're doing radio for it?
They sure are, John.
How the hell do you do radio for it?
Westwood One will be broadcasting.
What the?
So the event will consist of
I
various...
guess it's in the contract. They probably have to, but God, that sounds awful.
2 p.m. to 5 p.m. right
Various
here.
skill competition events, 3 7-on-7 flag football games. First block of events held tomorrow, and then they'll do some other stuff. The first portion will take place behind closed doors.
What?
So last year, I actually did see some of the Pro Bowl. In my defense, it was because I was at a brewery and it was on. I wasn't actually watching it. This year, no. I'll be dude, it's going to be 50 degrees on Sunday. I'm going to be outside walking Banks. No, thank you.
Ooh, walkies.
Oh, yeah. It's walking time. Banks has been itching for walks. I'm excited.
Guys, some big news happened in Formula One today. Can we please bring back an abbreviated edition of Formula Friday to talk about it?
I gave you a topic on this a few weeks ago, and you crapped all over Cadillac.
Yep.
And now you're excited for Ford?
Yep.
Why are you excited for Ford but not for
no,
Cadillac?
because of the problematic parts of Henry Ford?
You love Friday.
I am from Formula.
Ford has a history in Formula One dating back decades, and the Ferrari-Ford rivalry,
I
as
look forward
I know
to them
you
bringing back
know,
the same old engines. That'll work well.
it will not be, because the engine regulations are changing to be more of the EcoBoost side, which, as we all know, Ford has been developing constantly over the last decade or so. And
This
with
is
the new
sad. I mean, it gave you Cadillac and Michael Andretti, and you're like, crap. But then Ford comes, and you're all excited.
Ford makes sense. It's an established motorsport property in
So
this
is
country.
Cadillac.
And Cadillac does the
Cadillac didn't have the racism.
Cadillac, but they do have the racism.
They have the race in them.
Wow.
That's better.
Wow.
Cadillac is known more for the endurance and ISMA stuff, which is great.
Endurance? How many quarters?
But Ford is more established when it comes to Formula One. They left the motorsport.
As long as they race the F-150.
Can I ask a serious
I want
question?
them to race the F-150.
They let. They're not. It's an engine.
So
it's an
real-
engine.
two questions. So Ford is going to race now?
We don't. We know they're coming back. Their engines
Folks.
are coming back. So in some way, shape, or
So they'll
form, they're
have
going to be
engines,
back in
Josh.
Formula
Okay.
One.
Is this serious question? Is this to get more Americans to watch?
I think it might have something to do with it. The reason Ford left in 2004 is because they couldn't afford the upkeep anymore. But now that America, I know.
Well, I think it's actually the other way.
Screwdriver.
I think they're.
I know.
I mean, car companies do this to sell more product, and so they're trying. I think Ford's.
I
Probably
think it's
trying
a
to
combination.
expand to an international audience.
It's a well, Ford's already got international stuff. They do stuff with endurance racing, and they do
I
the
know,
Le
I
Mans
know,
and
but-
everything all right
Le
now.
Mans.
Yeah.
Said they left Formula One in 04, couldn't afford it, and now I think with the added popularity in the States again, I think that's why Cadillac is in on it too. But I think Ford is more of a sellable property than Cadillac, and I think that's going to
Can
be.
they race a Taurus?
No,
Oh, that'd be fun. A Mustang.
How about a Pinto?
no.
But a Ford
Maybe go to
Explorer.
Lemons,
Yeah, probably
John.
not a good idea to race a Pinto because, as we've seen in one of the movies we saw, people
That's
just
true.
randomly rear-end cars. When
John,
they're
if you
leading
want to
races.
see a Pinto
Bronco.
or a Taurus race, watch Lemons races.
I've heard of this.
They
It
come
actually
around here
sounds-
sometimes.
It sounds hilarious.
One of the guy who started the Forza League that I race in sometimes, he races a Cougar. The name of their team is Nothing Runs Like a Cougar.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Races Casey Mike's mom.
Nice. But yeah, Ford.
Barry Abbott didn't spit water all over the studio.
Thank you for letting me do Formula Friday,
There you go. It's back.
folks. Duke women's coach Kara Lawson is upset that the first half of her team's game at Florida State was played with a men's ball, which is larger than the women's basketball. A game Duke lost. To quote the coach, "I can't say if we'd have played with a women's ball in the first half and the second half that we would have won, but they can't say that either. Does she have a right to be upset?"
I think the area that I would be upset is even less about winning and losing and more just like, how do you make such a simple mistake?
Yeah, how do you exchange? I guess I can somehow a men's ball got mixed in with the rack, but usually with the game ball, I thought the game ball, the referees check out the game ball.
Like you would notice that.
You would think.
And how early in the game wouldn't one of the players noticed it too? Or did they? And they just didn't let the refs know. Weird. I'd be upset, but like, does it make a difference between a winning and a losing? I don't know.
I mean, it's not like Florida State got to play with the smaller ball
See,
while
that's-
Duke got
that's
to
the
play
thing.
with the large. They
They
both had to play with the same,
ball.
beach ball.
Yeah.
I guess for them it'd be like a beach ball.
John loves beach balls.
Huge fan of the beach balls.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Bill Simmons wrote a column again. It's just like the old days, guys. Josh, we know you read it front to back.
I did.
John, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part was the part that I didn't read, which was all of it.
Did you click it?
No.
It was his NBA trade value column. You want to know who he ranked as the number one player that you wouldn't trade?
Michael Jordan?
No, it's for this season.
Michael Jordan. Magic Johnson.
No,
Lakers aren't going to trade him, right?
He was like number 40. Giannis was number one.
For trade.
They
Bucks
wouldn't.
aren't gonna
that's the ranking. Least likely to trade. The most.
What a dumb idea for a column.
It's a great. He's been doing.
Let's do a column of the least likely players to get traded.
Yeah, it's ranking the players where.
Yeah, let's do that for the NFL. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I don't
I'd
think
read
the
that
Chiefs.
column.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to.
I read this column. It's a great.
It's so stupid.
It's a great bit.
Bit. Did he mean for it to be a bit?
Stupid.
It's a great bit.
No, it is not a. It's a dumb bit. Be like, let's see. Things I wouldn't do to myself. Stab myself in the head.
It'd be hard to stab yourself in the head. Skull there.
Really? This is what you get excited about? No wonder this guy sucks.
Well, he doesn't. Well, he does now. He didn't though back in the day.
Well, he does. And now he's writing columns about, this guy's never going to get traded. Stupid.
I loved it. It was great to see him write again.
Speaking of bad takes regarding Boston sports,
the
NFL Network's Sean O'Hara had this to say earlier this week about Tom Brady's retirement.
This is a huge moment, not just for Tom Brady, not just for the NFL, but like for all of us. Look, people remember where they were when JFK was assassinated. You remember where you were with 9/11.
Can I tell you something? Can I interrupt you real quick? His first start was a week after 9/11. That's how long ago he's been playing.
I came out the same year as him, 2000, and he's still playing. 23 years. That's a long time, but I'm going to remember this. Like, I'm going to remember who I'm with. Kyle's going to remember he was in Vegas. You're going to remember where you were when Tom Brady announced his official retirement. And it sounds like this one's for real.
The best part is that
how he
Peter
turned.
Schrager and the
What?
rest of the group didn't say, no, wait a minute. You're comparing this to 9/11 and the JFK assassination?
The biggest tragedies in American history.
Oh, by the way, it's not like JFK was assassinated in 62 and then came back and was assassinated again in 63.
Man,
That's what Brady did. He retired last year. And then guess what? He retired again. So it's kind of hard to have two monumental. I'm going to remember where I was.
Well,
Don't you remember where you were last year when he did it the first time and then backed out on
Hey,
it?
you know what's crazy about JFK's assassination is the Cowboys.
He was
for a while,
also offered a TV deal.
They didn't win the Super Bowl for a few years, and then Tom Brady never lost a. That's incredible. Schrager just picking it up and running with it.
Did you know Tom Brady started before 9/11? It's like,
okay, you know what? How about
Please.
this? I guess I haven't forgotten where I was when I learned the news because I just woken up. But I don't think that I will remember that. I don't remember where I was last year when I heard the news. Do you remember where you were last year when you heard the news?
No.
Yeah, dumb.
I had also
Schrager, hilarious.
Unbelievable.
That's
it's like JFK at 9/11.
Whoa, what is it, Josh Day? Because there's more bad takes. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky, top 5 NFL quarterbacks of all time are 1, Tom Brady, 2, Patrick Mahomes, 3, John Elway, 4, Peyton Manning, 5, Dan Marino, fins up. He's being roasted. How bad do you want to cook him?
That's bad. Where's Montana, first of all?
Yes.
I mean, I'll be honest.
Next to Utah.
If you want to have 1, 2, I know Damon hates Elway, 3 and 4. I mean, that's Montana. Come on. Mahomes is, I think, maybe the most talented quarterback of all time. He's going to need more on his resume. It wouldn't shock me if he finishes, in all of our opinions, as number 2. But where's Montana? You can't have Marino in there above Montana, or Peyton above Montana, Elway above Montana. Even Mahomes above Montana. Montana's 2.
Considering that Montana beat Marino in his only Super Bowl and beat
the
Elway in
the
a Super Bowl.
1-2 right now is super easy. It's Brady and Montana, and then we can have a lot of debate.
Well, here's the problem. And Chiefs fans, go ahead and get butthurt all you want. Patrick Mahomes has no business on this list. He's only played for a half dozen years.
You don't think he's one of the best quarterbacks you've ever watched?
Sure. Now, he ain't finished his career yet.
You think he's better than Marino?
The problem with lists like this, when you say of all time, I don't think unless you got an active player, like if this had been done last year and you put Tom Brady in there, of course, because Brady's played 20 years. Mahomes has only played for a half a dozen years. There's plenty of time to put Patrick Mahomes on a list like this. So no, he does not belong on the list. Certainly Marino, even I'm a big Elway guy. Montana not being on this list,
yeah, that's pretty stupid,
is ridiculous.
Yeah, and where's Troy Aikman?
Or Eli?
No,
that's true.
No,
that's true. Eli beat Tom Brady in Super Bowls.
That's true.
Twice.
Kind of surprised he didn't throw Aaron Rodgers a bone.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That is a bad list.
Travis Kelce's telling Chiefs fans not to do anything to the Rocky statue in Philly as Frisco fan did last week when somebody put a Niner shirt over it. Why is Travis Kelce disrespecting the Chiefs, guys?
I don't know.
Jeez, can you believe this?
I can't believe he would tell his own fans, hey, don't be a fan.
He just called it Jalen Head.
I can't wait for Chiefs fans to get mad at Travis Kelce for suggesting this.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good troll job, by the way, by Frisco fans.
I'm waiting to hear from Triggered Mike. I'm waiting to hear from him.
Well, when Travis Kelce gets pelted with a bunch of garbage when he walks onto that field in Phoenix, because the Chiefs fans are angry at him, this is why.
This is why.
He told his own fans, hey, don't be fans.
Unreal.
This week brings unusually warm weather to Omaha, Lincoln, and beyond.
Apparently.
As Jack Mitchell wrote this morning, even if there's snow in late February or March, it ain't lasting. My Jack Mitchell impression. Is the snow not done but melting, Josh?
Folks, I think it's melting.
Well, yeah, it is, because there's less of it today than there was a week ago.
And have you seen this? Have you heard about this? 48 degrees, 47 degrees, 51 degrees, 45 degrees, 49 degrees, 45. I mean, that's some melting weather if I've ever seen it. It's definitely going to snow, but ain't going to stick like it has been. We just got to get the layer. You know what we got to get rid of? The layer of ice. I don't know what it's like in your hood.
There's still ice in my apartment. On the grass, it's just ice.
Because there are certain spots where I live where just the building is too tall, and so the shade, it just never gets hit. So we just needed to get a little warmer so it can melt some of that. I'm with Jack, though. I think we're almost there, man. We're getting close. It feels like winter just started, and now it's almost over.
Stop. It's not almost over.
It feels
we
like
got a
it's almost
whole
over.
month and probably change.
Nah. We'll have some snowstorms, but nothing crazy. The crazy snowstorms are done, folks.
Oh, well,
damn it.
I'm happy to announce
Looking
it.
forward to the 12 inches we get
Put it
next
on the
week.
list.
And then it'll melt the next day because it'll be 50.
No,
Put
you
it on
can't.
the
No.
list.
Remember
Snow
in
doesn't
COVID?
melt that fast.
In
Eggs.
COVID, we had a crazy snowstorm, and then the next day it was
That
like
was
50.
COVID snow, Josh.
That was COVID snow.
He just did it. He just did. I knew you were
What?
gonna
I
do
said
this.
the crazy snowstorms.
Eggs.
Yep. Eggs are coming up.
Okay.
Josh just did it. I'm looking forward to the blizzard next week. All right. Bet of the day and wrap up the week next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Join Genesis Health Clubs today for just $10 and save $20 per month every month with no contract. Hi, I'm Rodney Stephen, owner of Genesis Health Clubs, here with the secret to healthy fitness habits. It's true that there are plenty of people who manage to stay consistent with exercise over lunch or after work, but the real secret is scheduling exercise into your daily routine. Pick a time, and that is your time to exercise. What is more important than your health? Nothing. So what time are you working out tomorrow? I'm inviting you to give it a try by joining Genesis Health Clubs for just $10 and save $20 a month, all with no contract. Whether your exercise is at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., schedule your exercise because it's the most important part of your schedule. And now life's little interruptions won't stand in your way. My dad always told us, don't put something off till tomorrow that you can do today. Make today your day for better health. Come into any Genesis location or go online and get started for just $10 and save $20 per month with no contract. Go to GenesisHealthClubs.com to get started today.
Coming back from a serious injury is a win that requires teamwork. At Barry Law, we're in it to win it.
Call Barry Law today, 402-999-7777.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows. The Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows are also presented by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More, by Barry Law, by Union Bank and Trust, and by DJ's Dugout. Before and after each Creighton game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
Are you going to tell me that there are 3 cheeseburgers takeout joints in the metro? Yeah, Burrs. 3. 40th and Farnham in the Blackstone District, 168th in Harrison and Millard, and inside the Blue Sky Patio and Pickleball Complex at 107th and Pacific Street. And every single cheeseburgers brings smash burgers, hot dogs, fries, shakes, and more to all of the hungry people of the ONE. It's a thing of beauty. Cheeseburgers, a takeout joint. Keep on trucking, people.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
I'm worried it's never going to get bigger.
On 1620 The Zone.
And you know why I'm laughing, don't you? Now, it's time for the Unsportsmanlike Conduct Bet of the Day.
Just a little bit under where some folks would like to see this one wind up.
Brought to you by nobody.
You gotta be kidding.
Really, we don't have a sponsor. Sorry.
What's wrong?
Steve on Twitter. Just
What did he
couldn't
say?
help yourself, could you, Josh? You, sir, suck. Thank you.
What did I do?
By saying that the crazy snow is done.
The crazy snow.
Crazy snow.
The crazy snow.
Yeah,
Thank
you
very
know what a
much.
crazy snow would be? A snow on Memorial Day. Thanks.
I mean, that would be crazy.
Thanks.
It did snow in May once.
I'm going to be sitting there watching the Indy 500 while it's snowing outside.
That wouldn't be good.
No, it wouldn't. And
I don't
you
think they
just
can
basi-
race.
and- no, I wouldn't be in Indianapolis. I would be here.
Oh.
By the way, I did just tweet it out. If you want to go check it out, the crazy snowstorms are done. I'm happy to announce this to the world.
You tweeted it out too.
Yeah.
You self-promoting.
I hope you put it on the
son of a-
list.
Well, I didn't put it on the list. Yesterday in Bet of the Day, John was a winner.
I knew LeBron would come through.
I was a loser because the Warriors' defense was not good enough. Nick, I honestly forgot to check your score. Do you know if you won or lost?
Who did I pick again?
You had, I forgot to look during the break. You had the Cavs, the Nuggets, and the Bulls. So while Nick looks that up, we will look ahead to this weekend. I'm going to go with one that we discussed earlier on in the show. Give me Villanova plus the 9.5 tomorrow versus the Creighton Blue Jays.
Cavs, Bulls, and who? Sorry.
Nuggets.
Nuggets.
Oh, Nuggets lost.
Oh, what?
Yeah, sorry, Nick. I guess
I'm going to go with a Big East parlay. Give me Xavier minus 8.5 against St. John's and Marquette minus 15.5 against the Butler did it. Plus 236.
Nick?
Timberwolves, 76ers, minus 121.
It's Bet of the Day.
Iowa.
Minus 121.
Yep. Not Nebraska, Iowa.
Speaking of Big East
Thanks for
basketball, we
reminding us.
have all your coverage tomorrow starting at 5 o'clock with Robbie Lula, 6:30 tip. Creighton and Villanova. Make sure if you're going to the game to know which color you're supposed to wear, white or blue, because it's a stripe out game.
Again, why won't
I
someone
want
think
cool
of the
pictures.
olds?
I want cool pictures.
Is it in the mail?
They all have white or blue.
Member ticket stubs.
Remember? Oh, somebody contacted us earlier and said that they still get actual tickets.
Oh.
Because they pay extra.
Oh.
They pay extra for actual tickets.
Yeah.
It costs more money to print, John.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then it costs more money to buy the tickets.
John Bishop and that listener here for killing trees.
No, I'm not here
Super
for
cool.
killing trees. I just figured you'd want it on your phone. It's easier that way. You don't have to pay extra for it.
Cody says every time it snows and sticks for the rest of the year, Josh has to put $20 in the jar. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh.
saying it's not sticking. I didn't say that.
Wow.
Just said it's going to melt.
We did get burgers and extra chicken.
Also,
That's true, we could.
I did hear from somebody. I don't remember if it was email or tweet that said, I have a picture of when it snowed and then melted the next day. It's real. It happened.
Well, yeah, when it's a little bit of snow.
That
of
was
course.
COVID
It was
snow.
like 8 inches of COVID snow.
And it did not melt all in one day.
It basically did.
No, it didn't.
Fight!